Defining your big picture, dreams, goals in life. I woke up one morning asking myself what I could do to improve my life and benefit the world. Have you ever heard the phrase, "The purpose of life is a life of purpose"? It's both interesting and essential to understand that nothing in life can start until you get started. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. The fun in discovery comes from the excitement of exploring the unknown, the uncertainty and doubts faced when on a journey. Now imagine you're an explorer looking for an uncharted land. You have no idea where you will go or what the outcome will be, yet you know that there is something out there for you. Just be brave and journey on. And when you do, you'll notice what a great discovery it is. It's not just the physical things you've found, but also what you've discovered about yourself during the journey. From today onwards, let's all make some discoveries about how beautiful the world is, and finally discover more about ourselves. Everything starts from nothing. That's the creation process. From one dream, anything can be brought to life. The manifestation of one dream has the potential to create a whole new world for you. This challenge for you is, do you believe that one dream can change your life? Do you believe that one dream can change the world? One man had a vision of a workstation running his software on every desk and eventually in every home. That guy was none other than Bill Gates, the founder and CEO of Microsoft. His simple dream was manifested in the form of an American multinational computer technology corporation, and today he is a billionaire because of it. Here's another example. Two PhD students at Stanford University, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, began a research project in January of 1996. Their dream was to organize the world's information and make it universally acceptable and useful. Together, they produced the world's first and best search engine on the Internet. Today, Google's net worth is estimated to be at $350 billion. Again, a simple dream not only changed the lives of two students, but revolutionized the Internet's usage around the world. So what is your dream? Your mind is free to create anything you want to, as long as it resonates with your heart. How many of us have actually been giving thought to this and creating new ideas to make them come alive? Discovering your why. You can have many goals in life, big goals, small goals, health goals, financial goals, etc. But just having a goal is not enough. It doesn't guarantee that you will manage to achieve it. You can try achieving your goals with willpower, but that's not sustainable. What you really need is a why. A why so big that it gets you out of bed in the morning and keeps you up late at night. A why is the reason behind the goal or dream. Firstly, what does it take for you to get excited about life? How do you reignite the flame of passion, excitement, and joy? What excites you? What do you love to do? What do you find joy in doing? Take about an hour off from the hustle and bustle of life. Sit at your favorite, most comfortable spot with your journal in front of you and play some light music in the background. If you had all the money, time, and energy in the world, what would you do with it? Pen down your thoughts and let them flow. Keep dreaming and writing everything that comes to mind. Think bigger and bigger without placing any boundaries in yourself. Now, there are no limitations. Feel the joy in the moment and smile. Find the excitement of seeing yourself being, doing, and having anything you want. And once you have a bunch of ideas written down, start looking for repeating themes and begin crafting the big dream of your life that you want to achieve. Something powerful that would inspire you whenever you think about it. Once you have your big why, you can start setting smaller goals to help you reach it. Unleashing your creative powers. Have you noticed that whenever humans are faced with a crisis, they always find a solution? There's never a lack of resources, only a lack of creativity. Today, we're going to talk about your mind and the creative process. The very first thing you can do to help yourself is to ask. It's that simple. In the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, the words of Jesus perfectly capture the essence of this idea. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened. So here's how we can start. Think about a few problems that you are currently facing and ask some empowering questions about them. Instead of asking, "Why is it happening to me?" or "What did I do to deserve this?" you should instead ask, "How can I solve this? How can I make it better?" When you ask an empowering question, you tap into your creativity and start looking for a solution. When you ask a disempowering question, your mind starts looking for answers to why you have this problem. That, however, doesn't help you. I want you to try this quick exercise in order to tap into your creativity. Now you have to think of as many uses as possible for a paperclip in 5 minutes. In our workshop, it was amazing to watch a group of 9 people generate over 80 uses for a paperclip in just 10 minutes. Once you're done with this exercise, I'm sure you will be shocked by how many ideas you were able to come up with in such a short period of time. Now that you've started to ask and think, you've set your mind to focus on attracting new ideas and opportunities. No idea is too crazy to be realistic. Now, let me illustrate with the following example. Whoever thought that humans could fly? We don't have wings, yet we have the airplane. Whoever thought that humans could stay underwater for hours without coming to the surface for air? We lack gills, but we've managed to create the equipment needed for scuba diving and submarines. Whoever thought that we could combine a Walkman, camera, and mobile phone together? We did, and now we have smartphones which can be carried easily in the palm of your hand. All of these started off as crazy ideas. So get ready to be crazy about your dreams and turn them into reality. Creating your vision board. Hello there. Today I'm going to be talking about a useful tool when setting your goals as mentioned in The Secret by John Assaraf. It is the creation of what is known by a vision board. Creating a vision board could not be simpler if you only know precisely what it is that you really want and are willing to make the effort. It's now time for you to find pictures, words, affirmations, photographs, or cartoons that represent to you your goals. It's also important that you find photographs of yourself in which you are in positive, optimistic, happy states. You will be sticking these pictures, etc., on your vision board, which is like a kind of collage of your goals and aspirations. It is important that you find these photographs of yourself because you'll be placing yourself in the vision board, hopefully doing the things that you really want to do, have, be, and achieve. Now, there are 2 ways that you can actually make the board. One way is to use a huge board and paste your pictures on it, or you can use a PowerPoint, Photoshop, or Keynote and create a board that you can print out. Now, this can not only be inspiring, but can be fun and exciting too. Each time that you look at your vision board and you activate your imagination to really see yourself achieving your goals, allow yourself to get into and enjoy the feelings of actually living out your goals in your mind, realistically, as if it is happening now, and thinking about and imagining what kinds of things you will be hearing on the outside, externally, as well as the kind of things you would be saying to yourself, i.e., positive self-talk. You will be powerfully programming your subconscious mind to take you effortlessly to the full and complete realization of the goals that you set yourself. It's important that you do not allow your vision board to sit around gathering dust. Rather, the daily study, the daily practice, and daily discipline of going back to your vision board, having it in a place where you'll see it at least twice per day. For example, on your dressing table or above or beside your bathroom mirror, will help you to realize your goals much faster, with less effort, and in positive, empowering ways. Continue to pursue this daily exercise of using your imagination to help you and your unconscious mind to focus on the achievement of your goals. In summary, make a list of your goals. Go out and find magazine pictures, photographs, including of yourself, and design empowering affirmations, words, or prayers that remind you in verbal format of what you're trying to achieve. Put yourself into a collage using what you have found, and you have a vision board on your hands. The fun part, and the part that is most left out of teaching about vision boards, is the vision part, or, as the author has heard it said by wealth mentor Leslie Feiger, Imagineering, because it encompasses not only visual imaging, but tricking the mind into believing that the goal you want to achieve is actually being achieved right now, in this moment. And this should be done daily, and each time should feel terrific, as you experience yourself actually achieving your goals as a very real, imaginary experience. So allow yourself to have fun and enjoy the process of designing new life experiences that will enable you to have your dreams come true. Visualize the life you truly want. People who are successful often employ the visualization process. If there's something you truly want, you need to put that big brain of yours to work. Imagine what you want is right in front of you, or create the path to get there in your mind. Dream about what you want and create pictures in your mind that show how it all develops. You need to be in the proper mindset to do this, which can be achieved using the following relaxation techniques. Move to a quiet place where you can remain undisturbed for about a 30-minute period of time. Sit in a comfortable chair, back straight and feet on the floor. You also have the option of lying down, although it is important that you only do so if you can guarantee that you will not fall asleep during this period of relaxation. And once you're comfortable, close your eyes and take a few deep abdominal breaths. Breathe in through your nose, allowing your stomach to push out slightly. The goal here is to loosen up the diaphragm so that more air can enter the lungs. Hold your breath for the slightest of moments before allowing it to slowly escape through your mouth, bringing your stomach back to its normal position. In order to ensure that the proper breathing technique is being used, place a hand on your stomach so that you can feel the movements. Taking the time to perfect your breathing will make your visualization process easier each and every time. In your head, count backwards from 25 to 1, breathing deeply as you do so. If you haven't reached a relaxed state by the time you get to 1, try again. Only this time, start at 50 and count back. As you perfect the technique, you might find that you don't have to start with such a high number in order to become completely relaxed. Once in this state, think of something that you already have, which could be anything from your car to your job, or even just the roof over your head. Pay attention to how your mind and body reacts to possessing something with such total certainty. There will be no feelings of stress or anxiety when you think of these things, just the pure certainty of knowing. Allow yourself time to get used to this feeling and to fully embrace the serenity of it. Perform this process on a regular basis, as this will allow you to transfer those feelings of certainty and trust when you imagine the things you want during visualization. And when you put in as much time as is required for you to visualize all the possibilities, you then need to switch to focus mode. In the moments before you perform the action that will deliver the outcome you hoped for, place the picture of what you are about to do front and center in your mind. Visualization works, but you need to be comfortable, in a calm state and free from worries. The whole process is like meditation in many ways, except that your mind is totally active. Visualization encourages you to use your mind and imagine all the possibilities that lie before you. Meditation, on the other hand, requires you to basically cast all that aside and focus on a single thing.
Goal setting. Have you heard that you're 97% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down? The truth is that goal setting is important. In fact, it's without goal setting that you may never achieve the dreams of your heart. Every person in the world devotes countless hours to thinking of their future and their present situation in life. Almost everyone wishes that there was something that they could change in their life. Whether you dream of a new car, a boat, or even to be a movie star, goal setting is the important catalyst to your success. So let's get started, because in this audio, you will learn the fundamentals of goal setting, which begins with how to choose the right goals to focus on. Many of us are great at trying to set goals. Most of us are practically incapable of following through with them. Think about it. How many times have you decided on a course of action and simply didn't follow through with it? That's pretty much the norm for most people. Sometimes even setting goals at all is the harder part of accomplishing any. The easiest way of looking at this is to think of each and every New Year. What's the biggest topic of conversation every year on New Year's Eve? It's actually the resolutions. But most of us will only keep our resolutions for a short time. With each passing day and week, fewer and fewer of us stick to our plans, our goals. Sometimes setting goals alone is not the only problem that you must face. Sometimes choosing the right goals to begin with is harder. Basically, you can choose to work any goal that you feel is necessary for your health, stability, and happiness. Goal setting is nothing more than a formal process for personal planning. By setting goals on a routine basis, you decide what you want to achieve, and then move in a step-by-step manner towards the achievement of these goals. The process of setting goals and targets allows you to choose where you want to go in life. By knowing exactly what you want to achieve, you know what you have to concentrate on to do it. Goal setting is a standard technique used by professional athletes, successful business people, and high achievers in all fields. It gives you a long-term vision and provides you with short-term motivation. It helps to focus your attention and knowledge, which helps you to organize your resources. By setting sharp and clearly defined goals, you can measure and take pride in the achievement of these goals. You can see forward progress in what might previously have seemed a long, pointless effort. By setting goals, you will also raise your self-confidence as you recognize your ability to meet the goals you have set. The process of achieving goals and seeing this achievement gives you confidence that you will be able to achieve higher and more difficult goals later on. Goals are set on a number of different levels. In the first place, you decide what you want to do with your life and what large-scale goals you want to achieve. Second, you break these down into smaller aims that you must hit so you can reach your overall lifetime goals. Finally, once you have your plan, you start working towards achieving it. Why is it that some people almost always succeed? Here are 4 strategies to assist you to start changing the way you live your life one day and one goal at a time. In summary, they are: state your goal in very specific terms that you can accept. Plan backwards from your goal for the best results. Confront your fears and expectations immediately and progressively. Put your plan on paper and into action as soon as possible. Let's go through how this works. Your goal. Planning a career move is much like mapping your route for a road trip. If you don't know where you're going, you can't decide how to get there. But if you do know where you're going, you'll get there faster. Goals like go back to school are too general and not specific enough. You have to translate these goals into specific statements, such as enter a college accounting program by next fall, or for the next 2 months, search for work in the computer securities field. You have to know exactly what to do and when to go about it. Plan backwards. One of the best ways to move forward is to plan backwards. Start by asking yourself if you can accomplish your goal today. If you can't, why do you think that is? What do you have to do first? Is there something you have to do before that? Keep thinking backwards like this until you arrive at tasks you could do today. This will help you to attain the goal's starting point. For example, if your goal is to take a 2-year business administration program, could you start today? No, you have to be accepted to the program first. Could you be accepted today? No, you have to apply first. Could you apply today? No, you have to decide which post-secondary institutions to apply to. Could you decide today? No, you have to do some research first, and so on. I could do this all day, but you get the point. But don't worry if your list of things to do becomes several lists. Deal with your fears and expectations of yourself. Look over your list of things you will have to do to achieve your goal. Do you believe that you can do it? If you have doubts, take some time to think them through first. Are your expectations realistic? Have you succeeded or failed at tasks that were similar to this before? What can you do to improve your chances of success this time around? For example, if there's a good chance you will not follow through with your plans, you have to ask yourself why. Are you a professional procrastinator? If so, what can you do to make sure that you will keep going until you reach your goal? Are you afraid of failing? If so, work at improving the skills you will need. Or test the waters by taking an evening or distance education course before you sign up for the whole program. If you are having trouble identifying your fears or figuring out how to deal with them, talk to people you trust. Ask for their suggestions, but always make your own decisions. Put your plan into action from the to-do list. By this stage, you probably have more than one list of things to do, and if it is necessary, some plans for avoiding or dealing with potential problems. Now you need to put them all together into one comprehensive plan. You must list tasks in the order in which you must complete them, and set deadlines for the completion of any major plans. Successful career planners keep themselves on track using a variety of methods, such as marking tasks on a monthly calendar, noting important dates, such as application deadlines or action plans, making weekly or daily lists of things to do, and crossing off tasks as they are completed, using a computer program to create timeline charts, which give you your time limits for task completion, using a commercial appointment book or a notebook, even a Palm Pilot with a new page for each day or week. Use whatever methods work best for you. If it is absolutely necessary, ask a friend to check on your progress occasionally or question you on your successes because you're more likely to get things done if you know you'll be asked about it. Now you have learned a new way to set goals and follow them through. If you follow these 4 steps, there's nothing to hold you back. Setting goals for fitness and health. Health and fitness goals are certainly among the most common. After all, wouldn't most of us like to shed a few pounds or commit to something that would bring us the results of a fitness program? If this is you, here's how to go about setting goals for fitness and/or health. Begin by first deciding what it is that you want out of it. Do you want to improve your appearance, your physical skills, build endurance, flexibility or strength, or are you trying to lose weight? Make sure that the activities that you pick meet the goals for what you want to get out of it. Set yourself up for success. It's important not to destabilize your efforts with goals that are too long-term or impossible to attain. For example, I want to lose all my extra weight before summer is too unrealistic, particularly if you have a great deal of weight to lose and summer is just around the corner. Too often, goals are an end result of whatever program we choose and not a part of it. You have to make goals an active part of your life by creating goals that lead to the next goal. It is just like the backwards technique you may have already heard of. For instance, setting a goal to lose 10 pounds puts the goal at the end without putting too much pressure on you right away. You can add to this goal once it is achieved, and so on. Setting a goal to join an exercise class and attend it 3 times a week makes the weight loss goal a part of the program. You will have set a goal that is achievable almost immediately. This gives you a sense of accomplishment, which is an incentive to setting and achieving the next goal. Record your progress. Write your goals down so that you have something to look forward to as well as to look back on. To begin, map out no more than 8 weeks of activities towards your first fitness goal. Working within your lifestyle, decide on a regular program. It's not necessary to work out every day, especially when beginning a new program as your body is not used to the stress. Our bodies become tired if expected to do hard work 7 days a week. Exercising every other day is a safe and realistic goal. Keep track of how much time you want to spend doing an activity, followed by how much time you will actually spend on it. Not everyone is looking at fitness and health to lose weight. Perhaps you are just looking to better your health. We tend to focus most on the area of our health in our lives when our health is already failing or is less than stellar. Unfortunately, it may sometimes take a life-threatening event, illness, or some type of physical rehabilitation to give us a wake-up call to make tough changes in our current health habits. We try to follow through on sound health principles such as enough sleep, a healthy diet, and plenty of exercise, Yet we may not have the time in our busy schedule or have strong enough willpower to implement a balanced and healthy lifestyle. With the pressures of the fast-paced world in which we live, stress can set in and take its toll. Many of us spend a lot of time away from home. What that means is that we are eating on the road as well, which doesn't always offer us the best or healthiest choices. Perhaps we are lucky to get 6, maybe 7 hours of sleep per night, while we now work at least 6 days per week. The old saying, "At least I have my health," is finally starting to mean something to a great deal of people. You might be wondering, what can you do to improve your health? Prioritize what is most important to you in your own individual lifestyle. The fact is, it doesn't matter what your fitness or health goals are. But be honest with yourself at all times when it comes to your personal goals. And as often said, you should also consult a doctor before making any changes to your diet or exercise regimen to ensure that you will not harm yourself. That's all there is to it, and continued success to you. Increasing time management skills for achieving goals. Effective goal setting begins and ends with time management. You need to balance your time in the best way possible in order to achieve your goals. Most of us fail to achieve goals because we lack the time. That is why this audio needed to be included in this e-course. We're all pretty busy, aren't we? Whether we're a child, a teenager, young or old, it seems that time becomes more precious with each passing year. But it seems that instant coffee, drive-through fast food, and microwave ovens haven't solved any of that. The concept of time management has been in existence for more than 100 years, believe it or not. Unfortunately, the term time management creates a false impression of what a person is able to do. Time can't be managed. Time is uncontrollable, and we can only manage ourselves and our use of time. That is all that can be done. Time management is actually self-management. For effective time management, we need the ability to plan, delegate, organize, direct, and control every aspect of our lives just to find 30 minutes a day that is devoted to something productive that is just for us. There are common time wasters which need to be identified. In order for a time management process to work, it is important to know what aspects of our personal management need to be improved. Otherwise, what is the point in trying? Here is a list of some of the most frequent reasons for reducing effectiveness in and around our lives. You might want to make note of the ones which are causing to be the major obstacles in your own time management. These are referred to as your time stealers. Identifying your time stealers. Interruptions, for example, the telephone or television. These are also distractions. Interruptions, for example, guests or children. Meetings. Tasks you should have someone else do for you. Procrastination and indecision. Acting without total information. Dealing with other people's issues or problems. Some sort of personal crisis, for example, a family member is sick or injured. Unclear communication. Inadequate knowledge. Unclear objectives and priorities. Lack of planning. Stress, anxiety, and fatigue. The inability to say no to anybody with a request. Personal disorganization. There are quite a few, aren't there? Fortunately, there are strategies you can use to manage your time in a better way and be more in control and reduce stress, but you can analyze your time and see how you may be both the cause and the solution to your time challenges. In the next audio, you'll find out how to deal with time stealers and combat these obstacles to achieving your goals. Time management and how it impacts goal setting. In the last audio on goal setting, we started to talk about time management. Now that we have identified how time management skills affect achieving goals, let's go into this in a little more detail. 1. Shifting priorities and crisis management. Management guru Peter Drucker says that crisis management is actually the form of management preferred by most managers. What is ironic is that actions taken before the crisis could have prevented it in the first place. 2. The telephone. Have you ever had one of those days when you just had to answer the phone with Grand Central Station, how can I help you? The telephone, which can be our greatest communication tool, can be our biggest enemy to effectiveness if you don't know how to control its hold over you. 3. Lack of priorities or objectives. This is probably the biggest and most important time waster. It affects all we do, both professionally and personally. Those who accomplish the most in a day know exactly what they want to accomplish beforehand. Just ask Donald Trump. Unfortunately, too many of us think that goals and objectives are yearly things and not daily considerations. This results in too much time being spent on minor things and not the things which are important to our lives. 4. Attempting too much. Many people today feel they have to accomplish everything yesterday and don't give themselves enough time to do things properly. This leads only to half-finished projects and no feeling of achievement, as all the things are done in a hurry and appear rushed to others. 5. Drop-in visitors. The 5 deadliest words that rob your time are, "Have you got a minute?" Everybody does it. Colleagues, the boss, your peers, and your family and friends. Knowing how to deal with interruptions is one of the best skills you can learn. 6. Ineffective delegation. Good delegation is considered a key skill in both managers and leaders of homes and work. The best managers have an ability to delegate work to staff and family members to ensure it is done correctly. This is probably the best way of building a team's morale and reducing your own workload at the same time. The general rule is this: if one of your people around can do it 80% as well as you can, then delegate it. Procrastination. The biggest thief of time is not decision-making, but decision avoidance. By reducing the amount of procrastinating you do, you can substantially increase the amount of active time available to you. The inability to say no. The general rule is, if people can dump their work or problems on your shoulders, they will do it. Some of the most stressed people around lack the skill to just say no, for fear of upsetting people. Get over it because these people can do it for you. Meetings. Studies have shown that an average professional person spends about 17 hours a week in meetings, and about 6 hours in the planning time and untold hours in follow-up. Most people know what they want, but have no plan to achieve it except by sheer hard work. What's the point in doing hard work when you don't know how to apply it? Your goals and plans should be reviewed daily, and they should also be adjusted regularly as achievements are met. Remember that successful people make lists constantly. Success can be defined by all sorts of things. You can define success by money, happiness, your home, your family, your vehicles, or your status in your career. The truth is, success is defined by you. What you have to do to become successful is also up to you. Because you decide what is success to you, you have to decide when and if you will get there. To start out, you want to define success. At what point will you be successful? How much money will you make? How many children will you have? Will you even be married? How many promotions from success are you? What will you drive? You see, it's all up to you. You should put a lot of thought into what you consider success. Our world is a very materialistic world, and being so, most of us get sucked into thinking that we will only be successful when others tell us we are. This is a very important thought that you should extinguish. No one other than you should be able to tell you when you have succeeded. Only when you have taken the time to really think about what success means to you, will you be able to truly find the happiness that comes with being successful. After you decide what success means to you, you have to decide what actions will take you there. Each little step of the way that you get to is another small success you should celebrate. No matter how far from or how close to your final goal you are, you have to celebrate each benchmark you achieve. When you do this, your brain subconsciously connects all the work you did to the pleasure of the success. After a couple of celebrations that are only about your success, you will grow to enjoy work more, because in the end, you know you will be successful from it. Here are a few guidelines you might want to consider when defining your success. One could be, to be truly successful means you have to do it ethically. Ill-gotten success will only leave a part of you empty, begging for more. There's no question about it. To most of us, this is not true success. Another guideline you might consider, your success must not be achieved at the expense of others. People will help you along the way, but success is more about reaching out than it is about moving up. Help enough people get the things you want, and you will make it to the top, and have a bunch of close and successful friends there with you. Achievement that moves other people ahead is even more success for you in the end. You also will want to make an honest assessment of where you are before you start defining success for yourself. Figure out where you want to be, then complete the steps needed to get there. This oversimplification has a lot of power. It is not a simple task when the gap between the 2 points is wide. You should take action towards your goal every day. You will have what appears to be failures along the way, but keep taking action. Learn from those you have done what you want to do. The old adage tells us we should learn from our mistakes. But if we want to be on the fast track to success, then learn from other people's mistakes too. This way, you learn from others and don't make mistakes that take more time to meet your goal. It's very important while on the road to success to have benchmarks as well. Benchmarks are smaller goals. Let's use an example. Say you want to make $1,000 a week and you're currently at $100 a week. You should give yourself a set amount of time. 90 days is a great time frame for goals. The reason why is it's close enough to feel like you can't procrastinate, but far enough away to be able to achieve the goal. Anyhow, this is your goal, $1,000 a week in 90 days. Give or take, it's about 12 weeks. A benchmark for this would be a smaller goal that you could be happy with if you don't meet the main goal of $1,000 a week. For example, you want to use something that is 75 to 80% of the main goal. This would be $750 to $800 per week. This should really help you get started on the road to success. With all of these tips and guidelines, take your time to really figure your definition and then go for it. It's a common myth that success just happens to people. A lot of times, those who aren't successful begrudge those who have achieved a certain level of success. To reach full achievement, you'll have to get over any feelings that success and achievement are just handed to people because of who they are or luck. Such misconceptions about success that you may have, these ideas could be all that are holding you back, separating you from the success you want and deserve. In fact, it is probably better to use the word achievement in place of success because it promotes the idea of taking action and doing something. Notice the root of the word is achieve. Now, success doesn't really ever happen by accident to people, even though it can appear so. The idea of overnight success, or even the person who just so happened to pick an amazing stock in the stock market, are really nothing more than myths. Usually, it is the seasoned investor who has learned a lot and understands, even at a subconscious level, how to choose a winning stock that gets wealthy with stocks, not the guy who picks one at random. On the other hand, you do occasionally hear of people picking that one right stock before it increases in value, but it's so rare that when it does happen, it is newsworthy. Still, any such immediate success rarely lasts. True and lasting success has to be earned. It must be achieved for it to last and have all of the positive benefits it brings. Contrary to conventional wisdom, overnight success in the entertainment industry and politics are almost non-existent. We often hear rags to riches stories and accept them as truth without digging into the facts. These make for nice stories, as they show anyone can catch a lucky break. While these stories are often not true, when they are always the result of hard work, risk, and/or persistence. Not doing the hard work but reaping the rewards is a sure ticket to eventual failure. Any such success is short-lived and empty. Now, for those who somehow beat the odds and become an overnight success, it is possible to maintain that success, but only if they're willing to do the work needed to maintain it. Any worthwhile achievement will take a lot of hard work, but if you have the right goal, motivation, and reason, success will surely be found by sheer persistence. Yet it may not seem like work at all. You need to be able to look at things with the right perspective. You're no longer doing work for the sake of work. You're doing it to achieve something good that you desire, and in doing so, you will be exposing yourself to opportunities when they arise. It is often said that opportunity knocks only once, but the successful achievers believe it may knock twice, but they never know if they missed that first knock. Those who are massive achievers, the ones who have reached the pinnacle of whatever field they are in, are those who are not just doing it for the right reasons, but those who are able to recognize and seize opportunities whenever they present themselves. For sure, sometimes those opportunities may not pan out, but they may even appear to be failures. But what does the successful achiever do? They take whatever they can get from these apparent failures and move on, stronger and better equipped for success than they were before. They then start looking for the next opportunity and seize it as well. Oftentimes, they will seem to fail to the casual observer. What they are really doing is failing forward. Whereas the average person may see failure as something holding them back, top achievers find value in them. They keep trying, they don't give up. After all, they know what they want and they'll get it, and something as common as a failure isn't going to hold them back. It is these things that make people appear to be overnight successes. But those who are quick to label people as such are the same ones who don't want to do the hard but rewarding work that it takes to achieve true success. Achievement is not just getting what we want, but also getting ahead. It's difficult to advance our lot in life if we lack character. Character is the result of habits, but those with poor self-esteem may believe habits are the result of character. To the outside observer, this also seems true, and to some degree it is. After all, who would think a person that succumbs to destructive or poor habits could also have a strong character? To be clear, our habits do not always reflect our character, and here's why. The difference is in our personal perception of what our habits are. A person with a weak character will not recognize that their habits are bad, while a person of stronger character will recognize they are partaking in bad habits, but simply don't know how to change them yet. There are 3 things that contribute to our character and habits. Let's look at them and how they play a role. Heredity. While it is true that you cannot choose your family, it's also true that you can be aware of any influence they have. If their influence is negative, you'll have to be firm when they try to tempt you into bad habits. That doesn't mean you should stop loving them or ignore them, but be aware of their influence on you. Our families contribute to the makeup of our character. How can you get rid of the bad ones? It will take some effort, as you can't change your genetics. In a moment, we will look at other areas that are more in your control. For now, choose to focus more on your family's positive influences and downplay the negative ones. This way, you'll be thankful for the good traits you have inherited and be able to put them to work for you. Environment. When it comes to character, your environment can play a huge role. Environment doesn't just refer to your physical surroundings, but also your social. Physical surroundings have an influence on our habits and character, but not as big as you may think. Many great people have lived in terrible surroundings. War, poverty, and suppression were not able to stop some of the world's best people. They prove that your surroundings can actually build character by making you stronger. And this is where habits really come in. If you have poor mental habits, you can let subpar surroundings affect you negatively, using them as an excuse for failure. However, if your habits are strong and positive, you have the power to manifest great character. Just as a blacksmith uses heat to harden steel, so too can a great person use a bad environment to better themselves. That covers the physical, but what about our social environment? This is probably the biggest area of influence in our lives. Let's face it, we choose to hang around with these people. Take a step back and look objectively at who you think your friends are. Do they have the same moral compass as you? Do they encourage you to do things you know you really shouldn't? Do they ridicule you when you try to do better? Perhaps your friends are a good influence, perhaps not. Just look at your closest friends and you will get a good idea of the person you are now or will soon be. If that doesn't fit in with your vision of achievement, then you will want to broaden your circle of friends to include the right kind of people. Education. In this sense, education refers to the things we learn. Obviously, this means not limited to the things we learn in school. We also learn a lot from experience and circumstance. In a way, it's education that really molds our habits and character. And that's good news too, because you can also educate yourself to develop better habits and character. Reading is an excellent way to do this. Fill your mind with good things and put what you learn into action. However, you can also re-educate yourself by being open to new experiences. Ask yourself what you need to do to change a bad habit, or what you could do to build character. Often the answers lie within us if we are able to be honest with ourselves. When it comes to achievement, a strong and good character is vital. Habits, good or bad, are a reflection of character. Finding the areas of influence in your life will help you develop the character you need to move ahead. The first concept you must grasp in order to achieve great things is that you cannot do it alone. You must be willing to ask for help from friends, family, and associates. However, when it comes to family, do not be surprised if they are slow to accept your goals and aspirations. There have been arguments made for not disclosing personal goals with family, either because they may try to steal your dream or they will tell you it just won't work. Whether you decide to include your family or not entirely depends on your personality and the level of comfort you have with your family. Remember, while you may love your family dearly, they are not your business partners in most cases. If you are the type of person who is easily defeated by the opinions of others, then you will want to avoid sharing your goals lightly. When considering the type of business person you are, you may fall into one of two groups. 1. Those who are motivated to prove people wrong. On the surface, this sounds negative, but it isn't. Trying to show people what you are made of may work for you. If you are the type of person that excels in the face of adversity, then you will get great pleasure out of proving your critics wrong. 2. Those who are motivated by sticking to their word. In fact, telling people your plans can be an excellent way to motivate yourself. You don't want to appear as though you cannot follow through. Some people don't succeed because they keep their dreams to themselves. This way, if they fail, nobody knows. Conversely, not everyone will face such a negative response. If you know the people around you will support you, then don't delay and let them know as soon as you can. That covers the personal aspect of achievement, but there are other areas as well. It is important to get support and to develop a team of people that will support each other in achieving their goals. This has been documented as being a mastermind group, but what they are called doesn't really matter. It's how you utilize the group that matters. After you have solidified your goals, you will want to select people to help you along the way, but not to be selfish. Find others that know what you don't, and on the other hand, know not what you know. This may sound confusing, but just remember that you don't know everything, and you want to find people that can help make up for your weaker areas. Create an inner circle of people that you can bounce ideas off of, look to for advice, and advise them on their ventures. Remember Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz? You think she would have made it back to Kansas without the help of her mastermind? Just as you should be helping people with their weak areas, the ride to the top will be more enjoyable. And once you arrive, you will have people there with you. One final group, especially for those in business, are customers and the public at large. Whether you are providing a product or service, you need to create something of lasting value so that people want to keep giving you repeat business. Your success is never achieved alone, even when it appears so. The things you want to achieve do not materialize out of thin air. Mantras such as "the customer is always right" and "your customer is your most important asset" are to be valued and ingrained in your business model. To use a sports analogy, what's a sporting event without any fans? Just an empty arena and no vendors. After breaking down your obstacles and figuring out how to beat them, achievement and success come naturally. Most people cannot take their eyes off the intimidating big picture and break everything down nice and easy. Remember that great things are rarely accomplished by oneself. In order to achieve long-lasting success, you will need the help of others and the approval of your customers. Create a group of like-minded associates to advise you and give constructive criticism along the way. And do not be afraid to ask for help from family and friends, but heed warning that your ideas and goals are valuable and are not to be thrown around lightly. There is a concept known as guilt by association. This is an unfair way of assuming someone is doing bad things based on the company they keep. However, this concept has its evolution in some sound principles. Principles that must be understood for true success. Let's take a look at achievement by association. It's the little things that can add up. What we watch and listen to embeds itself in our subconscious. You can make your own choices, but often these things are experienced mindlessly. We hear a good beat or laugh at a sitcom, but never step back to understand what it really means. This is not being judgmental, just a fact. Nobody is telling you to stop watching and listening to the things you enjoy. Just keep in mind that one little lyric here or off-color joke there will eventually be expressed in our behavior if we let it go unchecked. Negative influences have a way of taking a firmer hold than positive ones. Do not look at this fact with a defeatist attitude, but rather as a precaution. You need to add much more positive input to make up for the negative. But the good news is that the positive input is more uplifting and will just make you feel better. One way to counteract these negative influences is to read positive books. This helps put more good stuff into our minds. If you can tip the balances in favor of positive input, then logically, that will come through in your behavior as well. The people you hang around with play a major role in your self-development. And this isn't just in your private social life. It also extends to the people you hang around with at school, church, and your career. Think about this. Do you ever wish people would stop gossiping so much? Then stop hanging around people that gossip. Seek out those people at work and play who are most likely to help you achieve the things you want. Mentors are those people that have achieved some of the things you want to achieve. They will guide you and give you advice, but more importantly, they will hold you accountable. This can have a very positive psychological effect when you are faced with negative inputs that are within your control. Having a knowledgeable mentor is priceless. There's one more thing that you need to consider when it comes to positive association, and that is yourself. More specifically, the things you tell yourself. It doesn't matter how much positive input you are giving yourself if you keep thinking it's nonsense, or you are somehow doomed to fail anyway. It seems fitting that the most powerful element of success is the one that nobody else can do for you. Why does this matter? Because reaching the higher levels of achievement is always met with obstacles. That's why so many people never make it that far. Once they encounter an obstacle, they quit. But if you have the right mindset, then you will welcome the obstacles because you recognize them as a sign of progress. Not only will you understand their significance, but your positive mindset will help you get beyond them without causing you undue stress. Just as listening to certain song lyrics or watching negative TV programs is a habit, so is turning to positive influences. You can begin achieving greater things once you understand how your everyday associations impact your life. As you add more and more positive input, you may find yourself saying or doing positive things you have never done before. When this happens, you will truly understand the power of mastering this skill. Get rid of the idea of guilt by association and start achieving by association.
Rid yourself of negative people in a way that makes you feel good. Why is detoxing to rid yourself of negative people important? Those that carry a permanent air of negativity will be the ones who will stand in the way of your goals. They will talk you out of doing things, planting the seeds of doubt in your mind as they go. Being constantly bombarded by negative energy can drain your energy levels, bring with it stress and anxiety. And positive changes cannot happen when you inhibit a negative space. Allowing the toxicity that negative people bring to seep into your veins will stunt your opportunity for personal growth and success. And when negative people are removed from your life, it opens up space that positive people can move into, bringing with them encouragement and support. The process of detoxifying negative people from your life. Step 1. Come to the realization that you are worth it. If you want to achieve goals and become a better person, you need to believe that you can do it. Cutting loose the anchor of negativity that is pulling you down will help you get where you want to go that much faster. How do you come to this realization? Start by making an active choice to commit yourself to what it is you want from life. Don't let anyone stand in the way of that. If there are negative people in your life, ask yourself the following. What sort of effects are those negative people having on your life? What are your goals and how much do you want them? Are negative people stopping you from reaching those goals? And step 2, identify the negative folks. You start to feel worse the moment you start talking to toxic people. They suck all your positive energy and leave you feeling miserable. They will quickly shoot down any type of idea you suggest. And they will question everything you say or do. Try to convince you that making a change will be the worst possible idea you've ever had. It's not always easy to spot when you are doing this, as they will sometimes make it sound as though what they are saying is positive. And what they are really doing is filling your head with doubts and do nothing but make you feel totally insecure about yourself. You need to learn to identify when this is happening, as it is the only way you will spot the negative people that need to go. Step 3, get them out of your life. This can be done in any way that you think will be effective. Ignore their calls and steer clear of them. It's okay to be apologetic for your actions, but you do not need to defend what you're doing. Do not resort to rudeness or hate, but rather let them go with love. You may even allow them back into your life if they're able to get rid of their negativity and adopt a new attitude in the future. Step 4. Don't give in to guilt. Remind yourself that you are worth it, and don't give your actions a second thought once they're done. It may feel as though you are abandoning these people, but that is simply not the case. You're merely letting them go so that they can find their own way, and you can find yours. You might even have tried to help them in the past with kind words and encouragement, but all to no avail. Now, there comes a time when you have to cut your losses and move on. It's up to you to do what's best for yourself, not others. And it is human nature to grow and change throughout your life, with many people falling out of your life as those changes hit. And step 5, prepare to be positive. Replace the toxic people with those who are positive and willing to be supportive of your goals. These people will offer words of encouragement in everything that you do, even if some of those things are a little scary or risky. Positive people are up for and willing to try anything, and they are the ones that usually succeed when they try.
It is a good thing that you have decided to deal with procrastination by listening to this audio. Of course, if you have procrastinated, you won't be listening here right now. Yes, it is true that procrastination is not easy to deal with. I understand that it is also very tempting to listen to the first audio in this series and then listen to the others later. Unfortunately, later always turns into the present, and as we feel the pinch of the present, we try to come up with another later to make ourselves feel better that we will get things done eventually. This disruptive cycle continues until we run into serious problems involving broken relationships, lost income opportunities, or even death through sickness. It is indeed very scary to think about the destructive aspects of what the effects of procrastination can have on oneself. The interesting thing about procrastination is that procrastinators aren't born. They are, in fact, made. What's the difference between a successful person and a procrastinator? The successful person has learned to deal with procrastination. So in essence, every single one of us are procrastinators. So, why do we procrastinate? Really, it comes down to one very simple reason. We don't want to do it. The solution lies in convincing your mind that it is pleasurable to do those things we are avoiding. The only difference between a highly successful person and a heavy procrastinator is that the first one knows how to deal with procrastination more effectively. That's it. Overcoming procrastination is something absolutely anyone can learn. In the next audio in this series, we'll get started. We will identify the 3 major types of procrastinators and how to begin to overcome procrastination. How to finish what you start. In the last audio, we started to talk about some of the destructive aspects of procrastination and why we procrastinate. Today, we will identify the 3 major types of procrastinators. It's true that busy people can be the worst procrastinators. Every time to speak with them, they are busy, busy, busy. Always in a hurry, they are constantly rushing around. In some cases, the reason is that subconsciously it makes them feel superior to be doing many things. But in reality, they are simply poor managers of their time. They are inefficient at time management and often highly disorganized. If this is you, then it's very important to take an inventory of what you're doing and to improve your organization and time management skills. However, time management is not the cure. Telling a procrastinator to buy a day planner is like telling someone who is dressed to simply cheer up. However, improving one's organizational and time management skills are completely doable tasks. For example, do you understand the subtle difference between doing things right and doing the right things? If you always seem to have no time and never seemed to be accomplishing your goals, then you are probably not doing the right things. The cause of this is that you are likely task-oriented and need a little shaking up in that area. Dr. J.R. Ferrari is the co-editor of Procrastination and Task Avoidance, Theory, Research, and Treatment. And other researches have shown similar patterns in habitual procrastinators. The 3 types of procrastinators are arousal procrastinators, are thrill seekers who get a rush from leaving something until the very last minute and then working like a whirlwind to complete the task. The second is avoidant procrastinators. They are insecure. They shirk because they fear failure. The final type is decisional procrastinators. They seemingly can't make a decision, and in their mind, not making a decision absolves them of the responsibility of the outcome of events. There are big costs to procrastination, and the biggest is usually your health. Colds, headaches, stomach issues, and neck or back pain are just a few examples of the health costs that procrastinators pay. They lead very stressful lives, and procrastinators tend to consume more alcohol among those who drink. It's another example of coping mechanism that is in place to disengage from the feelings of stress and avoidance. Why is procrastination destructive to our lives? Procrastination is subtle, really subtle. The way it works is so subtle that it eats away ferocious amounts of time and we don't even realize it. How innocent it seems to let time slip by. We deceive ourselves into dealing with it the next minute, next hour, or the next day or month. Somehow, we always feel that it will somehow get done by itself. Yet, at the end of the day, there still isn't enough time to get things done. We know that life gives us its fair share. 24 hours a day to the rich, poor, famous, invalid, busy, or lazy person. Time is fair in the sense that we have the choice to do exactly whatever we want with our 24 hours. You get only 24 hours, not a second more or less. What makes procrastination so deadly is the fact that life is full of sob stories on how people had such a wonderful plan and a great idea that somehow never came to life or conceptualized in the real world. Imagine if Albert Einstein procrastinated and decided to write the theory of relativity much later while he played with his dog now, assuming that he had one. Or if Thomas Edison decided to invent the light bulb once he has got things out of the way. Perhaps today we will still be using candles. This is just a hypothetical example, but you get the idea how destructive procrastination is. Procrastination must be dealt with. Period. You have to be very clear in your mind what the destructive efforts of procrastination are and how you must deal with it now, not later. In the next audio, I'll talk about the general mindset on how to deal with procrastination. Dealing with procrastination, what we are up against. Dealing with procrastination, what we are up against. How do we deal with procrastination? First, we must be very clear that procrastination is a symptom of many flawed characteristic traits. There is no action in the world that is taken without any form of motivation behind it. However, most motivation can be summarized into two forms: gain motivation and prevention motivation. In other words, prevention of pain. It is a crazy mind game, but somehow you will find that most people are able to motivate themselves in ways that allows them to defy the odds and accomplish great things. They have 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. What makes them normally different from the rest of us? Motivation. No one procrastinates something in and of itself. There is a reason behind everything. There are many forms of motivation that I can share about now. One of it is by doing something that you enjoy. Most people who are struggling with starting a business, for example, find that the more their business is focused on their favorite hobby, the more they will work hard at it. Working at something you like doesn't feel like work. People drag themselves out of bed every morning to go to work, but wake up extra early to head on to the golf course. Why? Motivation. Find what motivates this mindset. Useful time management strategies. In the second audio in this e-course, procrastinators that are busy people. In fact, busy people can be the worst procrastinators. Every time to speak with them, they are busy, busy, busy. Always in a hurry. They are constantly rushing around. In some cases, the reason is that subconsciously it makes them feel superior to be doing so many things. But in reality, they are simply poor managers of their time. They are inefficient at time management and often highly disorganized. You can sit down and analyze, read a dozen books about self-motivation, and even talk to others about it, but it all counts for nothing if you don't take practical measures. As a matter of fact, you have made tremendous progress fighting procrastination by listening to this audio series so far. If you have completed the course in 5 days, congratulations! If you are listening to this after 5 days, shame on you. We have covered a lot on procrastination, but I have a suggestion on how to apply these things into real life. One of the most practical applications you can do is to write down a to-do list. A list of things to do each day and week is a valuable aid to managing your time and eliminating inefficiency. What it does is that it helps you organize your thinking and planning into a sheet of paper. When you write things down on a list, your mind becomes focused, like the example of the archer above. Your subconscious mind starts formulating strategies and creating solutions on how to solve your problem because it is narrowed down to something small and easy to read. I have already said everything that I can say for now. It is all up to you to make that decision, and that decision is to overcome procrastination once and for all. Take action now and don't procrastinate. It's time to take your life back.
Learning how to overcome self-sabotage. Now, most of us do not realize how powerful our subconscious is. Now, this part of our mind has a huge influence on our actions and inactions. Many of us attribute our failures and lack of success to bad luck. We go on with our lives not fully aware that we have got anything to do with the events of our lives through subconscious sabotage. The truth is, we are the ones that create the circumstances that make us fail. What can we do to triumph over self-sabotage? The first step is to become fully aware of our fears and emotions. Once we are aware of the causes that lead to unproductive actions, we can then proceed to prevent these things from happening again. What happens when we inflict self-sabotage? Well, let's look at the repeated lack of success of so many people who say they want to lose weight. Most fail to get the outcome they aim for. What we need to ask is, do these people really want to lose weight? Even if they say so, they may actually feel secure with what they have. They may have doubts about what will happen when they lose weight and are actually frightened about it. Inwardly, they might feel as if losing weight will expose them. So even if they say they're doing everything to lose weight, they do not control their diet, neglect to exercise, and keep making excuses. Here's another example. A huge number of individuals fail to show up for interviews, including those that are offered highly desirable positions. They may have valid reasons, but their subconsciouses might have created these situations. Perhaps a stay-at-home mom decides she needs to return to the workforce to earn money for her family. What she really wants is to stay home with her children, but she feels obligated to get a job outside the home. So, instead of applying for the perfect position, she applies for jobs that she knows she's not qualified for, or jobs that require hours incompatible with her family schedule, so she has to turn down the job if it's offered. Subconsciously, that's her way of ensuring she won't have to leave the home, and at least she can say she tried to get a job. These people might have the subconscious belief that they do not deserve the outcome, mainly because they're concerned about how others will perceive when the new status quo is achieved. What they do is to unwillingly act such that they end up failing. Self-sabotage is unconsciously done, and even the saboteur does not know that he is just fooling himself. The doubt and uncertainty in their mind makes them do certain things that would ensure failure instead of success. Outwardly, they claim that they have done their best, but luck is not on their side. Does this describe your own behaviors in the past? Have you been your own saboteur? And how many times did this happen? If you're not achieving your goals, even if you are doing everything you think you are capable of, then think on it. The good news is that we can overcome this self-destructive behavior. The first and most crucial step is to learn to recognize that it is happening. And we can do this by developing the skill to be consciously aware of our emotions, thoughts, and actions. What you can do not is sit down and look back at the past setbacks that prevented you from achieving your objectives. Could you have avoided all those obstacles? If there are too many things that come up to prevent you from succeeding, then you might have unconsciously committed self-sabotage. A great way to get in touch with your conscious mind is by spending time in quiet meditation. And when you start doing meditation, you can ask yourself what your fears and uncertainties are. When you're aware of the discomfort and reservations that you have about a certain goal, write them down. Using a journal to write these questions and answers can help, because writing can help you to connect with the deepest part of yourself. It might take time and practice, but exploring these possibilities can dramatically help you to get out of the self-sabotage rut. Now, when we finally understand that we are in control of our own success, we'll be set free from all limitations. Once you achieve clarity, then you can focus your energy on more productive activities and finally end the cycle of self-destruction.
Five active steps to build confidence and be yourself. Building confidence is more about belief than ability. After all, a healthy sense of belief in yourself can improve your confidence more than anything else. Honestly, belief and confidence are a lot like the chicken and the egg. They're linked, and it really doesn't matter which comes first because they're both critical for the existence of the other. When we're working to build our confidence, we must believe. In order to believe, we must have confidence that our beliefs are correct. In this presentation, we'll provide you with 5 steps to build confidence and be yourself. Draft a strong personal belief statement. This can completely change things. Your belief statement needs to concentrate on your beliefs as well as remind you of what you're capable of. You need to feel both good and empowered when you speak your belief statement out loud. Take 10 minutes to jot down some of the challenges you've faced and the themes that keep coming up in your life. Next, take 10 minutes to generate potential belief statements that claim your ability to overcome them. Now, spend 5 to 10 minutes speaking the statements you've written. Finally, choose the one that evokes positive emotion / confidence in you. Once you've established your personal belief statement, memorize it. When you frequently recite your belief statement, you lay the foundation for building long-term confidence. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice confidence, the stronger your confidence will be. You already know of things that you're good at and capable of. This can help boost your confidence, especially when it provides proof that you can do anything. When you accomplish something, it's a chance to practice confidence, and expressing that confidence out loud, whether to yourself or others, can truly transform your whole belief system. Your confidence is like a muscle. It must be strengthened. If you don't use it, you lose it. That is, if you don't strengthen your confidence, you won't stand a chance when faced with disappointment. Invite confident/competent people into your life. You reflect your environment and those you spend time with. Therefore, you need to make sure to invite confident/competent people into your life. These people will model behaviors that benefit your growth. When you watch others exhibit their confidence, even when faced with challenges, it will strengthen your belief and confidence in yourself. Their presence in your life will prove that you can be confident even when faced with struggles. Plus, it reminds you that you're not alone, which is the best feedback you'll ever find. Track your wins. Your inner critic can get aggressive and loud when self-doubt rears its ugly head. This can end up compounding into an assault on your beliefs, which can make it difficult to build your confidence. Unfortunately, it seems to be easier to remember what went wrong, but not always easy to remember what went right. However, if we keep a record of our wins, we can refer back to them as a reminder of our accomplishments, bravery, and capabilities. They will help you reconnect with and exercise your confidence muscle. Trust that there's something greater. This trust allows you to experience a deeper faith which will lead to confidence. When you trust that there's something greater and a reason for everything, you can tap into a sense of acceptance when things go crazy. This will naturally help you anchor your confidence, making it easier to get out of your comfort zone. Conclusion. In order to achieve your goals, you need to build your confidence. Unfortunately, many people experience anxiety with this process. What we believe about ourselves will have an effect on our confidence. After all, if you don't believe you can achieve something, then you won't. While this may sound really simple, it's not. If you believe in yourself and that belief is rooted in trust, there's not much that will shake your confidence. These 5 active steps will help you build confidence and be yourself. 5 tasks to help you understand your weirdness. If you really stop and think about it, there's no one that has been successful that is 100% normal. Plus, it takes guts to be weird and use it to your advantage. As a general rule, weirdos are made fun of, ignored, referred to as crazy, and are often loners. If you've ever been called weird, don't fret too much over it. The truth is, it's probably a good thing. You must learn to use your uniqueness to your advantage. You need a strong sense of confidence to let your weirdness show because people are mean. They're going to criticize you, make fun of you, and even laugh at you. In this presentation, we'll take a look at 5 tasks that can help you understand your weirdness and learn to use it to your advantage. 5 tasks to understand and use your weirdness. Don't confuse weird with jerk. The title of weird is not the same thing as being a jerk, therefore don't use it in that way. Be weird, but don't be rude about it. Stand up for your uniqueness. The truth is, it's hard to be weird. Chances are you've learned by now that many people have difficulty accepting anyone who is different than they are. People are going to do whatever they can to make you normal. They may physically beat you up, or they may tease or ignore you until you comply. Sure, being weird is hard sometimes, but if you own it and don't back down no matter what, those in your life will learn to love you for it. Don't shy away or try to hide. Unfortunately, many times people get into situations and their weird starts to show, and instead of letting it happen, they bury it as quickly as they can before anyone else catches a glimpse of it. The truth is, weird is part of who you are, whether you like it or not. If you attempt to hold it in, you're not being true to who you are, which is the worst thing you can do. You're special because of your weirdness, and if you nurture it, it'll grow and you'll be able to use it to your advantage. Prepare for a different lifestyle. One thing you must keep in mind when you're weird is that your lifestyle is going to be completely different from that of anyone else. You may decide that you want to move into a hut and become a painter. Then again, maybe you want to investigate paranormal activities. Most people are not going to understand you, and the hard part is, some of those people will be those that you love deeply. However, no matter what, you must always be true to who you are. This is your life, and you only get to live it once. You must do whatever makes you happy. It's fine if you need to be selfish and never look back. Stop caring. This is one of the hardest things you'll have to do, and truthfully, no one ever completely masters it. However, the less you care, the more your weirdness will thrive, which means your happiness will increase because you're being true to yourself. Of course, some people change based on their environment. You may have to tone down your weirdness in certain situations, as some people may get overwhelmed with you. Ultimately, you must be true to who you are. Avoid those who don't support you as much as possible. Conclusion. If you really think about it, most of the really successful people in the world have a bit of weirdness in their personality. Sure, it takes guts to be weird. As a general rule, weird people are shunned. However, the truth is, you must learn how to understand your weirdness and use it to your advantage. 5 tips for getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. As humans, we believe that stress is a bad word. We do whatever we can possibly do to avoid it. However, the truth is, sometimes stress can be beneficial because it gets us out of our comfort zone, which can launch us into success. One of the worst things you can do to your career, or even to your life, is to remain too long in your comfort zone. Unfortunately, when you don't get uncomfortable, you don't grow. If you don't grow, you get stagnant, which is never a good thing. If you ever want to reach your true potential, you need to experience a bit of stress and discomfort. In this presentation, we'll give you 5 tips for getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. Remove frustration from your vocabulary. Over the past few years, one of the primary leadership buzzwords has been resiliency, which of course has different meanings for different people. However, for most people, this term means to be as strong as possible by being adaptable when things change and removing the word frustration from your vocabulary. The emotion of frustration is a man-made one that can be eliminated once you understand and acknowledge that every problem does have a solution. As a strong, resilient leader, you must learn to break down the problem into the smallest possible components to find the solution. This will help you become stronger and more resilient and eliminate frustration. Focus on short-term resolutions / small wins. The next tip for becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable is to leverage small wins and short-term resolutions. This means that you must be taking each day as it comes, focusing only on what is under your control, and then find the places where you can have small wins and only need short-term resolutions. The small wins not only build your own confidence, but can also help to build the confidence of your team. Then, as you begin to connect your short-term wins to create long-term wins, your confidence will increase and you'll become more comfortable with the uncomfortable. Follow your intuition. When you're feeling uncertain and uncomfortable, you'll only increase your discomfort if you start to overanalyze and/or overthink the situation. One of the best things to do is to trust your own intuition and feel confident that even if you do make a mistake, it'll be easy to fix. Find ways to proactively innovate. When you react to what's going on around you, the chances that you will feel uncomfortable are increased. However, you can take action by evaluating the situation and challenging the situation at hand. When you are the one that is driving the situations in your world instead of reacting to them, you'll be much more comfortable with being uncomfortable. One of the ways that you can do this is to find ways that you can innovate the current situation. Unlearn and relearn new things. One of the main reasons why people are uncomfortable as a leader is that they're stuck in their old ways of thinking. When you can unlearn some of these old thought processes, you'll be a lot more comfortable with being uncomfortable. Conclusion. As humans, we often do whatever we can to remain in our comfort zone. We don't want to be uncomfortable. However, if you never get uncomfortable, you will never grow, which means you'll be stuck for a very long time. On the other hand, if you can implement some of these 5 tips for getting comfortable in the uncomfortable, you'll see growth like you've never seen before. 5 tips for setting boundaries with people who try to squash your weirdness. You've been told that you have a unique personality, and there are some people in your life who have tried to squash that. Unfortunately, you struggle with setting boundaries, but the good news is you're not alone. This is something that a lot of people seem to struggle with. In this tutorial, we'll explain 5 tips for setting boundaries with those who are trying to stifle your uniqueness. There are two main functions of boundaries. They tell others how you want to be treated, protecting you from being mistreated. They build a healthy separation between you and others, allowing you to have your own space/privacy, as well as your own ideas, thoughts, feelings, and needs. You're free to be yourself, instead of simply an extension of someone else, or who/what someone else wants you to be. If you never experienced clear, consistent boundaries and/or expectations when you were growing up, it's probably not natural for you. You may feel like you don't deserve to ask for what you want/need. However, you can release these negative beliefs regarding boundaries. The following 5 tips will help. Be clear. Before you start establishing boundaries, you must be clear about what it is that you want and why that's important to you. This will help you explain what you need and help you maintain your stance when things get tough. If you're trying to establish a difficult boundary, it may be helpful to jot down what it is that you want and why. Some people find that writing out a script and rehearsing it decreases their anxiety. Be direct/don't apologize. When you communicate your boundaries, it's best to be direct and concise. If you try to explain, justify, or apologize for your boundaries, your message isn't as strong. Whatever you do, keep it simple and keep in mind that you have every right to ask for what you want/need. You don't need a reason. Expect resistance. When you start establishing boundaries, some people will not respond gracefully. This is usually the people that have been benefiting from your lack of boundaries. They don't want you to change. Some of them will use anger to try and manipulate you and get you to change your mind. Others just need some time to adjust to the new you. One of the reasons people don't set boundaries is because they want to avoid conflict or upset anyone. When people don't like the boundaries you're trying to establish, it's easy to revert back to your former passivity. However, even if your boundaries do provoke resistance or anger, you should never not set them. You just need to take steps to protect yourself. When people fight against your boundaries, it only confirms that they're needed. It's an ongoing process. If you've got any experience with children, you know that you've got to set rules repeatedly and be clear with them about what you expect. The same thing needs to be done when setting boundaries with adults. You can't just set it and forget it. You'll likely need to set the same boundary over and over with the same person. Then, as needs change, you may need to establish different boundaries. They are for your well-being. You should never use boundaries to control/punish others. Boundaries should be used as a form of self-face, something you do for your personal well-being. They help you avoid being taken advantage of, being overworked, physical/emotional abuse or harm, overcommitting yourself, or feeling overwhelmed. Conclusion. You've got a very unique personality, but unfortunately there are people in your life that will try to squash that. However, you must keep in mind that you matter. Your feelings, dreams, needs, and ideas are all important. You can establish parameters of how people are allowed to treat you. These 5 tips can help you set boundaries with people who try to squash your uniqueness. 5 ways to stop looking for approval from other people. We all seek validation and approval from others. It's part of the human condition. This is perfectly acceptable to do occasionally. However, at some point it becomes habit, and this is when it's time to take a step back and realize that you don't have to have the approval of others to feel good about yourself and your achievements. In this tutorial, we're going to explain 5 ways that you can stop looking for approval from other people. Why do we seek approval? The truth is, confidence comes from validation. If we don't trust ourselves, we turn to others to find that approval. We trust the opinion of others more than we trust our own. We believe their opinion of us holds greater validity because we don't believe in ourselves or our own perspective. However, there is some good news. You can turn this around and learn to build stronger trust/confidence in yourself. 5 ways to stop seeking the approval of others. The good news is it's possible to flip the script and learn to build stronger trust and confidence in ourselves. These 5 tips will help. Replace your inner critic. According to the experts, we are our own worst critic. When we're critical with ourselves, it undermines our confidence. Therefore, when you have these critical thoughts, try to catch them. either by meditating or journaling, and pay attention to how they make you feel. Acknowledge them, but counter them by reminding yourself that you are valuable and capable. Invite nice people into your circle. When you're surrounded by people that don't have your back, we begin to crave validation. People who judge you or ignore your text messages leave you feeling insecure and craving approval. Therefore, you need at least one person in your circle that will hype you up. This can be a friend or mentor or someone that inspires you in some way. You need to hear these voices that remind you that you are important to the world. Check your beliefs. While it's perfectly acceptable to collaborate with others, you don't want to be persuaded by what they say because you may not believe in your own voice. When you check the accuracy of your belief, you realize that your story isn't stable, and you'll consider others' beliefs. Don't forget to practice. When you're not 100% proficient at something, you feel the need to check with others to make sure you're doing it right. While there's absolutely nothing wrong with checking in with others, the best way to improve your own confidence is by practicing it yourself because, after all, confidence comes with competence. The more you practice, the greater your confidence, and the less likely you are to look for approval from others. Try to understand why you seek approval. When you understand why it is that you're seeking approval, it's easier to overcome this behavior. Before you reach out to others for approval, ask yourself why you don't trust your own opinion on the matter. You may find that you're seeking approval because you're unsure about something, or maybe it's because you want someone else to like or accept you. Conclusion. Seeking out the approval of others is part of the human condition. We all do it, at least from time to time. There are several reasons why we might be doing this, the primary one being that we don't have the confidence in ourselves. However, with these 5 tips, you can learn to stop trying to look for approval from others and live your best life. 7 tips for using social media as a weirdo. If you're running a business/brand page on social media and you're concerned about its growth, stop worrying. There are billions of people who are active on social media, which means this is the best place to increase awareness and exposure of your brand or business, as long as you're using proper social media strategies. In this tutorial, we'll explain 7 tips for using social media as a weirdo to increase awareness and exposure of your brand. Whether you're launching a new brand or running a new business on social media, the best place to get started is with SMART goals. This acronym stands for Simple, Measurable, Achievable, Realistic, Time-bound. If your goals do not fit within these parameters, you must revisit them. Choose your platform carefully. Another useful tip is to carefully choose your social media platform. Over time, there are new, better platforms being established, which can make it hard to choose. However, choosing the one with the largest population of your target demographic is a great place to start. This will help you increase your follower account on other platforms. Know about target demographic and take appropriate steps. Once you've set your SMART goals and you've chosen your platform, you want to consider your target demographic and get all the information you can about them. This is who will determine whether your brand or business is successful. Pay close attention to the posts that they engage with and the content they're interested in, as well as the platform where they are most active. This will help you find out a lot so that you can create more engaging content and therefore increase your visitor and follower count. Increase follower count with a winning game plan. Research has proven that when you create/follow strategies for your social media platforms, you're more likely to be successful than those that do not. Therefore, you must take the time to learn and implement as many social media strategies as you can come up with to make your dreams come true. Here are a few things to consider. Highlight upcoming events/festivals. Create custom hashtags for your posts. Follow a theme and make it interesting for your audience. Make sure your audience is engaged on your campaigns, trends, and features. Utilize helpful tools on social media platforms. One of the ways you can grow on social media platforms is to use the tools that are available to you. As mentioned previously, pay attention to the actions and behaviors of your target audience. Of course, it's not always feasible to stay up all night to wait until your followers are online. Therefore, use a contact scheduler so that your content can be posted at the time you choose without you having to lose sleep. Use the storytelling method. Research has shown that one of the most effective ways to spur people to act on something is through storytelling. People believe in stories/experiences that are packed with emotion, which will increase your brand awareness, which also makes your brand grow. Additionally, storytelling builds an emotional attachment, which helps your audience relate to your stories. Implement emote icons. Emote icons are a great way to increase engagement on your content and deliver the appropriate meaning to your audience. People are able to understand the tone, direction, and nature of your content. In the world of social media, plain text looks boring. Conclusion. These tips may seem a bit on the simple side, but they are highly effective for helping you learn to use social media as a weirdo. Sure, you'll have to put some time and effort into them, but there's nothing in the world that comes easy. The results that you achieve will be completely worth it in the long run. 10 inspirational quotes for and by weird people. Unfortunately, weirdness, or uniqueness, is something that most people in the world simply don't know how to appreciate. Most people are more comfortable around conventional or normal people. After all, this seems to be the much safer choice. However, eccentricity is often synonymous with authenticity and a strong sense of self-confidence. Often, we hide the best parts of ourselves because we're afraid that others are going to reject or misunderstand us. After all, it's happened, either to us or to people that we know, and sometimes at a very young age. Part of the human condition is the desire to be liked and to conform to the box we're supposed to be in. At some point, there comes a time when we realize that we don't want people to like us for something or someone we are not. This is the point where you learn to embrace your weirdness and learn to appreciate your unique self, flaws and all. In this presentation, we'll provide you with 10 inspiration quotes for and by weird people that will encourage you to be yourself, no matter how weird you may seem to others. In nature, nothing is perfect. Trees can be contorted, bent in weird ways, and they're still beautiful. Alice Walker. Be weird, be random, be who you are, because you never know who would love the person you hide. Unknown. There's no such thing as a weird human being. It's just that some people require more understanding than others. Tom Robbins. I'd rather be weird and happy than normal and miserable. Suzanne Colasanti. I don't see myself as weird. I just see myself as honest. Tori Amos. I like weird people. The black sheep, the odd ducks, the rejects, the eccentrics, the loners, the lost and forgotten. More often than not, these people have the most beautiful souls. Unknown. I am convinced that the only people worthy of consideration in this world are the unusual ones. For the common folks are like the leaves of a tree and live and die unnoticed. L. Frank Baum. I think everyone's weird. We should all celebrate our individuality and not be embarrassed or ashamed of it. Johnny Depp. All forms of madness, bizarre habits, awkwardness in society, general clumsiness are justified in the person who creates good art. Roman Paine. Blessed are the weird people, poets, misfits, writers, mystics, painters, troubadours, for they teach us to see the world through different eyes. Jacob Nordby. Conclusion. You must learn to embrace your weirdness. Sure, not everyone is going to fall in love with who you are, and that's perfectly okay. Not everyone has to like you. The only thing that matters is that you learn to like yourself and be true to yourself. Don't ever let anyone get you down. Debunking 5 common myths about weirdness. There are 5 self-beliefs that have an impact on your performance. If you ever find yourself thinking or believing any of these, be careful. On the other hand, if you do hold any of these beliefs, you can be optimistic because beliefs can be changed. In this presentation, we're going to debunk 5 common myths about weirdness. This will help you become aware of what needs to change and understand how your behavior is influenced by your motives. Success is determined by how you compare with others. When it comes to our personal and professional agendas, we all set our own standards of excellence. We compare ourselves to our past achievements. We compare ourselves to objective standards. We compare ourselves to other people. These comparison points determine our goals. I cannot obtain happiness. Many people believe that their weirdness will keep them from obtaining happiness, no matter what they're trying to do. They believe that they're just as likely to find a unicorn in the White House. However, it is possible to achieve happiness. Here's what you must do. Figure out your values. Understand that attaining certain goals isn't the answer. I'm not in control of the world. According to Carol Dweck, a psychologist, we have one of 2 primary viewpoints that affect how we interact with the world. We believe that we can change and grow with personal effort, or we are at the mercy of the world, unable to influence our own destiny. My skill/ability is extraordinary. A survey from 2018 indicated that 73% of nearly 3,000 college-educated Americans believed that they were above average intelligence. Unfortunately, skill inflation is a major issue in the workplace. A college graduate will show up for a job thinking they can do it when, in reality, they're not even close to being prepared. In addition to derailing your career, overconfidence in your skills makes you seem hopeless because you have no clue that your performance is subpar. When you're in a professional environment, you may have a hard time recognizing the obvious, and instead of trying to improve, you just keep looking for validation for your own beliefs while ignoring information that conflicts them. It's my motivational type. As humans, we have a voracious desire to try to find the reason for certain behaviors, outcomes, and events. If something doesn't work out right, we want to know who caused it and why it happened. If something does work out perfectly, we snatch up credit and then try to find out how and why it was a successful outcome so that it can be repeated in the future. We also enjoy not expending cognitive effort when we can. Why should we think/reason if it's possible to generalize? This pattern of seeking causes an event, and also resting our brain causes us to label others based on certain characteristics and traits. We use labels to justify our identities and behaviors. Labeling ourselves and others becomes an issue that leads to inaccurately branding others for several reasons. For example, though some consultants/authors would like you to believe it, there is actually no such thing as fixed motivation. Though you might exhibit some dominant motivations, your behaviors actually change with the situation. When we generalize, we assume that everyone that falls under that certain label have the same motivations. They really don't. Sometimes a person is labeled and they act the way they are labeled because that's what they think is expected. Conclusion. If you find that you have any of these weird thoughts or behaviors, don't stress too much over it. The truth is, when you become aware of it and decide that you want to change, you'll be able to. Hopefully, this has helped you to debunk 5 common myths about weirdness. How to foster creativity, one day at a time. Looking back through human history, you can see that value has been placed on creativity. Some have even referred to it as the skill of the future. Perhaps this is because creativity helps individuals adapt to uncertainties and solve issues as they come up. Some research suggests that creativity is a more accurate predictor of extended lifespan than intelligence or openness to experience. In this tutorial, we'll teach you how to foster creativity one day at a time. Steps to fostering creativity daily. Here are 8 steps to fostering creativity in your daily life. Make a plan. The very first step to fostering creativity is to work on your craft. While this may seem obvious, the truth is many of us forget that in order to be successful, we must work hard and practice. We can't just sit still doing the same thing every day and expect to see improvement. In order to grow, we must consistently water our soil. One way to do this is to make a plan. Set aside time on a daily basis to work on specific things. Additionally, set goals for yourself. Creating a plan instills commitment. Giving yourself deadlines helps you to manage and track your progress. Most of all, this will keep you accountable. Carry a journal. In some cases, you may feel like you're running around with no time to foster your creativity. However, don't let this limit you. Keep a journal with you at all times. This way, you can pull it out and jot down ideas as they come up. This will help you spark your creativity when you have time to work on it. Establish a notes section on your phone or computer. If you're like most people, you use your phone and/or your computer to check your messages, answer emails, check social media, interact with clients, surf the internet, and more. One of the best and most convenient ways to record your ideas is to use a notes app on your phone or computer. Unplug. Instead of mindlessly surfing the internet, binge watching a favourite show on Netflix, or scrolling through social media, spend that time being creative. If you use this time 1 to 2 days a week, you'll find that you actually do have more time to be creative. Work on something different. Sometimes you may get stuck in a rut, and the best way to get out of that rut is to find something new and different to work on. When you set aside time to pursue something different than your normal creative activities, you may surprise yourself, open up new ideas or processes, and maybe even feel more inspired to get back to what you're familiar with. Wake up early. Believe it or not, waking up just 30 minutes early can change your entire day. This will actually help you have way more time than you usually do. Plus, you'll begin the day by getting your creative work taken care of. This helps eliminate any stress you have trying to get it done at the end of the day when you're exhausted or uninspired. Taking care of creative work early in the day will help you start in a more positive way. When you make waking up early part of your routine, creativity will feel like a normal part of the day instead of an obligation. Create an inspirational space. If you find something that inspires you, email the link to yourself or pin it to your Pinterest board or bookmark it. This will ensure that you don't forget about it and you can find it again in the future. Plus, it will give you a list of inspirational content in the future when you find yourself stuck. Embrace the mess. The truth is, everything you create is not going to be a headline-worthy piece. However, don't let this get you down. The important thing is practice, not perfection. Embrace the mess and understand that success is an ongoing process. Enjoy the process, even the mistakes, and let yourself grow. Conclusion. There has always been value placed on creativity. However, in our day-to-day lives, we often get busy and forget to take time to be creative. These tips can help you foster creativity on a daily basis. Weird people lead people. One of the biggest things that leaders struggle with is learning to embrace their weirdness. But if you don't learn how to do this, you're going to miss out on one of the easiest ways to strengthen your team and create a wonderful company culture. When you're trying to build weirdness into your team, the ultimate goal is to develop a company that's 100% authentic. When you are a leader, there are many benefits of letting your weirdness show around your employees. In this presentation, we'll explain some of the benefits of weird people leading people. 3 benefits of being a weird leader. Many people believe that as a leader, they have to display professionalism at all times. But the truth is, it's perfectly acceptable and even encouraged to be weird. Here are 3 benefits. You encourage employees to be themselves. When you're building your team, you may find that some of your new hires are nervous about meeting everyone. The best way to get them to open up is to share an embarrassing story about yourself during a company-wide meeting. This will make them laugh, which will help them relax and let their guard down. When they see that their leader is down to earth, they are more likely to be themselves. Unfortunately, many times leaders believe they must be stern and display themselves as the picture of perfection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They believe that this is the best way to get respect. However, the truth is, this is one of the worst things you can do as a leader. You must be able to be honest with your team about your weaknesses, because this is the best way to improve your own credibility and get them to respect you. There's no one that wants to work for a leader that seems fake. After all, you wouldn't want your employees to be fake, would you? If you embrace your weirdness and start being open about it around your employees, they will too. Before you know it, everyone will be acting like themselves, and the office environment will be much more fun. The company will become innovative. You know that it can be difficult to get all of your team members to where they can speak up when they have an idea. However, sometimes that's where the best ideas come from. And if you, as the leader, will start to voice some unconventional ideas in company meetings, you may find that everyone else will start to chime in with their own ideas. In some cases, you may find that it's fun to throw out an idea that you know the team is going to veto. This will indicate to the team that their ideas can't be that strange or bad and encourage them to speak up more often. Since you're the leader, your team members will feel good about themselves when their idea is voted in over yours. Sure, it means that you lose the spotlight for a moment, but it builds the confidence of your team members, and they'll start innovating without your encouragement. You'll make better hiring decisions. Once the team members start to let their inner weirdness show, it will begin to rub off on those that you interview. When an interviewee comes in, they'll see what it will be like to work at your company. They'll see that everyone in the office is quirky and proud to let it show. In some cases, you may have interviewees that are not looking for that type of environment. You don't want those people anyway. Start the interview by having a few fun and unique questions. Then gradually ease them into the weirdness by inviting them to a company social. At the social, be authentic and share some embarrassing stories about yourself. When this is over, you and the applicant will know whether or not they're a good fit. Conclusion. Leaders tend to struggle with letting their weirdness show, or, as some people put it, letting their freak flag fly. However, the truth is, a little weirdness or a few quirks can't be a bad thing. After all, when you show your weirdness, you'll find that employees feel free to be themselves, will learn to be more innovative, and you'll make better hiring decisions.
Many people agree that the past should be forgotten, and we should focus on the present and the future. However, it's easier said than done. Some traumatic and hurtful situations are not easy to let go because of their unprecedented nature. Many times we think about what could have been, and hot tears just roll down the cheek. Sometimes it can be because of the loss of a significant other. You've been looking forward to building a future together with the person. She was the woman of your dreams. You have been waiting to have someone like her in your life. Eventually, you found her, and you were already planning forever with her. Then, out of nowhere, she was involved in this ghastly accident that took her away from you. Now you are wondering how life could have been so cruel. You feel unlucky and depressed. The depression and dejection have made it hard for you to give any other person a chance to win your heart. Indeed, a story such as this is tragic. If it were a Hollywood movie, you could have been shedding tears by now. We all have things like this in our life. Of course, the intensity and situation are not the same. Nonetheless, we all need healing. We all need to let go of the past and focus on the present while looking forward to the future. This video course will equip you with the tools you need on this new journey. In this video, we'll discover about the past. It's gone forever. In the words of Chuck Palahniuk, your past is just a story, and once you realize this, it has no power over you. These words were spoken some years ago. However, they are still as potent and relevant as the first time they were spoken. If only many people realized this simple but extremely powerful truth, life would have been easier for them. We would have had more individuals that are less cranky and frustrated in the world. Some people struggle to overcome their past demons. For instance, bad experience from their past relationships often hinder them from building robust and happy relationships in the future. They build a mental wall and find it difficult to trust another person or commit into another relationship. Letting past experiences interfere with our future is detrimental to our growth and mental well-being. This chapter will explore some vital things about the past you need to know. Life is a journey. This statement might sound like a cliche, but it's not. You have to realize that life is a journey. In fact, it is an experience we are all having for the first and last time. In other words, no one has been to this world before that is now having another opportunity to live it all over again. Indeed, there are people who are experienced in this world. However, their experiences are all parts of their journey in life. Life is a progressive journey that begins at conception and ends in death. It is like a movie. However, this movie is your story. You are supposed to play the roles of both a director and an actor in this movie. Playing the role of a director implies that you are in charge of your life. You make plans and set goals that give your life a direction and sense of purpose. When you are a director in the story of your life, you will take responsibility for your life. You will not blame others for your predicament. Besides, you will not believe that your success and happiness depends on external factors, including the actions of others. Psychologists refer to this mindset as an internal locus of control. No one will give you the role of a director in your life. You can choose to take it or give it to other factors, including your past. Unfortunately, many people have allowed their past mistakes to dictate their current state. The role of an actor in the story of your life is not optional. You will play that part whether you like it or not. Even your inactions are still part of acting in that position. In summary, everyone is an actor, but not everyone is a director in the movie of their lives. Your journey in life does not end until the day you have your last breath. Therefore, you can choose to make the earlier part of the journey, your past, the summary of your story, or you can choose to rewrite the script. As long as you are still alive, you still have the right and opportunity to edit the script of your story. You can still come out on the other side with pride, regardless of what your past looks like. The past is an experience. Life is an experience that is bitter sometimes and pleasant on some occasions. One of the reasons some people find it difficult to let go of the past and start over is that they don't expect life to be cruel and unpleasant. Well, you have been educated wrongly. Life is like a coin with two sides. There are days when you'll experience so much happiness and have reasons to smile. However, there will also be days when you don't want to talk to anyone because you are sad. We all wish to have things go our way all the time. Nonetheless, life has other plans. For some people, they will have many pleasant events occurring in their lives in the early parts of it, but start experiencing the other side of life in the later period. However, some people have a lot of challenges earlier in life, but have better experiences later. This pattern does not mean that you don't have control over the events that occur in your life. Your actions and inactions are what produce some situations you experience. However, there are events in your life you cannot control. However, you need to see every situation as an experience. In other words, you have to treat the events occurring in your life as a learning curve. There are cases when something bad happens to you because of your mistake. However, there are times it is because of the negligence or wickedness of others. Regardless of the source of your frustration, you must take it as an opportunity to learn something new. When you don't see life as a learning curve, you will keep nagging yourself about your failures and mistakes. You will keep wishing you didn't go to that party or visit that person or made that decision. Indeed, things could have been different. Nevertheless, the deed has been done. So the only way you can make the best out of your life is to keep the lessons of your past but never keep the emotions. In other words, remember why you failed, but stop seeing yourself as a failure because you have had poor performances in the past. If you keep seeing things that way, you will never be able to prepare for future tests. The past cannot be changed. You cannot move on from the past and focus on the present if you don't realize that you cannot change the past. The truth is that it is gone forever. All you can do is to ensure that you make the best out of the present and your future. It is normal that you feel hurt when you made a mistake that cost you a golden opportunity. In the same way, you will also feel bad if you did something that ruined your relationship. However, you need to learn to forgive yourself and realize that you cannot undo what you have done. Besides, who says you cannot get an even better opportunity than the one you missed? Some people make statements like opportunity comes but once, but it is not true. Life often presents us with better opportunities than the ones we have missed previously. Nonetheless, many people end up missing those chances again because they are not prepared for them. They were not ready because they were still thinking about their past failures. In the same way, it is not true that you cannot find a better lady or man than the one that broke up with you. Moreover, if a person truly loves you, he or she will be willing to overlook your mistakes and stick with you during your low moments. So the fact that that person broke up with you because of your mistakes can be a blessing in disguise in the long run. You might still find a person who will love you and stick with you come rain, come shine. Nonetheless, you will never be able to find such a person when you are still stuck in the past. You will not give better people the opportunity to win your heart again because you're still thinking about your ex. You cannot change the past. It is time to start over. In this video, we'll talk about dangers of getting stuck in the past. When you have refused to start over, you are endangering yourself in various ways. As earlier mentioned, it can make you lose sight of the opportunities around you. This chapter explores what you stand to lose when you're stuck in the past. Depression. According to the World Health Organization, depression is a leading psychological problem affecting millions of people around the world. Note that depression is different from the occasional mood swings we have because of an unpleasant event. Depression is more intense and persistent than that. When you are depressed, you will not want to talk to anyone. You will prefer to stay in your bed rather than go out and have social interactions. At that moment, everything in the world becomes colorless and tasteless to you. Note that depression can become fatal in the long run. It can lead to suicidal ideation. In other words, depression can make you feel like taking your own life. Meanwhile, you should never get to that point. There is nothing worth it in this world that should make you feel that taking your life is the best option. As long as you are still alive, you can still rewrite your story. No one is denying that you were hurt, but you cannot get stuck in the past. The price can be too costly. Guilt. Guilt can become a serious issue when you feel that you could have done things differently. It is that feeling you have when you're at fault. You wish you didn't make the choice that led to the disastrous outcome, and it is weighing down on you. According to Socrates, an unchecked life is not worthwhile. So it is normal that you think about your mistakes and learn from them so that you can be better prepared for future events. However, it is a problem when you cannot let go of the negative emotions you have from that experience. Note that you cannot separate guilt from depression. In other words, when you are feeling bad about yourself because of your past mistakes, you can eventually become depressed. Remember that depression can lead to suicidal thoughts. So you'll be doing yourself a lot of good by letting go of the past. It's good that you're not happy about your mistakes. Nevertheless, you need to move on. Shame. You can feel ashamed of yourself due to moral failure. For example, if you cheated on your partner, you might feel bad about that action for a long time, especially if that person broke up with you because of that. In the same way, you might feel ashamed if your personal sex clip was uploaded on social media. No one can deny that these situations will make you stigmatized for a while. Nonetheless, your story is not ended unless you decided to quit. It is noteworthy that no man can walk out of his own story. You have to end it somewhere, somehow. You can either choose to stand up and heal your wound or choose to be defined by your past mistakes. The truth is that there are people out there who are still willing to give you an opportunity to prove yourself. However, you will miss those opportunities when you keep thinking that you don't deserve to be loved and respected because of what you did in the past. Lack of focus. It is challenging to be focused when you are thinking about the past. You will struggle to make plans or set goals because you are still thinking about what could have been. This situation is common to people who are close to achieving something monumental, but it didn't work out eventually. So they feel that it is not likely they can get it right again. It's not true that you cannot achieve success again because things went south the last time. However, you need to be focused. Don't let a sour relationship make you a monster. Stop saying things like you can never love anyone like you loved your ex again. You're only reacting because you felt bad about the heartbreak. In the same way, you should not be lackadaisical in your attitude in your new job because your last boss treated you badly. You have a new opportunity to rewrite your story. Don't ruin it. Poor performance. You cannot be at your best when you're not emotionally stable. People going through heartbreaks often find it is difficult to perform at the same level they used to perform before the incident. When you allow the thoughts of your mistakes or a negative event in the past to keep coming at you, you will either be slow while executing a project or carry it out shabbily. Besides, you will not be present in the moment. You will just be doing things just to get by because you are emotionally disturbed. So the sooner you banish the memory of the past and focus on the present, the better for you. The demands of the modern world require that you are focused. If you are working with a ruthless boss, you'll be dismissed if you're not producing as expected. That will only make things worse for you. Low motivation. The importance of motivation cannot be overemphasized in any activity. You cannot perform at a high level when you're not inspired to work. When you refuse to move on and start over, you will not have the passion to give in your best. It can be disastrous when you are doing a job that requires meticulousness and attention to detail, like the medical profession. Your lack of focus and motivation can lead to a costly mistake that can ruin your career or put an indelible mark on it. It could also lead to litigations, which does not bode well for your reputation and brand image. So it is in your best interest to let go of the emotional entanglements and focus on the task at hand. Anxiety. Just like depression, anxiety is another psychological problem facing many people in the world. The advent of social media has made it the order of the day due to excessive exposure to traumatic events and insensitive comments. However, social media exposure is not the only source of anxiety in the world. You can also be anxious when you keep remembering your past mistakes. This anxiety can come especially when you're about to carry out a similar task. You might be scared that you will make mistakes again that will lead to another abject performance. Substance abuse. Many people, especially youths, turn to drugs and other substances like alcohol to relieve stress and anxiety. Depressed people also often abuse drugs and alcohol because they're trying to feel better. These substances might offer you short-term relief. However, they will take their toll on your physical and mental health in the long run. You can become addicted to them such that you will not be able to live a normal life unless you take alcohol. Once you get to that point, you are in trouble because you can become more violent and aggressive, which will affect your relationships. Physical illness. Whatever affects your mental health will eventually affect your physical health if you don't act fast. If you keep thinking about the past, you will become depressed. Meanwhile, when you're not in a good mood, you will develop poor eating habits and will not be motivated to work out. In the long run, you can fall sick due to your unhealthy practices, so you will not gain anything by being stuck in the past. The disadvantages and dangers of not starting over are more than the ones listed in this video course. These ones are highlighted so that you can realize that you have a lot to lose when you are stuck in the past. In this video, we'll discuss about why the past doesn't equal the future. You'll be stuck in the past when you think it has a vital role to play in your chances of future success. However, it is not true that you cannot thrive again because of your mistakes and past failures. The future promises a lot if only you are willing to let go of the past. This chapter examines why the past doesn't define the future of an individual. The past is a closed chapter. Treat your life like a book. Your experiences are previous chapters. The present moment is the chapter you are reading. In most cases, you don't go back to a chapter you've read. You only flip back to those pages when you have something you didn't get correctly. In some cases, you also flip back to that chapter when you find a similar concept in the current chapter. The implication of this is that you should only remember your past when you need to draw lessons from it. You will not make progress if you remain stuck in a chapter of a book and refuse to read on. In fact, you might find better explanations regarding a particular concept you find difficult to understand in the subsequent chapters. Life is like that. Sometimes you will not understand why some things happen the way they did until you forge ahead. For example, you might find out why your former boss treated you wrongly later. It could have been because of a jealous colleague. The person might have gone to lie about you to the boss, making the employer turn against you. You might still have an opportunity to take a better role in that organization if you choose to let go and focus on improving yourself. However, if you allow the situation to weigh you down, you might not be in the best position to be offered the role later. Don't worry too much about things you don't understand at the moment. They often become clearer over time. The future is a blank page. Remember that your life is like a story. Nothing is written in your future. However, you can start making concrete efforts to make your future more pleasant than your past through the decisions you make at the moment. One of the worst ways you can prepare for the future is to cling to the past. When you're not letting go of the past, you will not be able to see the future holds more opportunities for you. The rest of your life can be the best part of your life if you see it that way. The future is full of opportunities to rewrite your story and get things right. It is natural that you feel like hiding in your shell after a setback. You will not want to make mistakes again, and that can make you become more measured. There's nothing wrong with being careful. However, it is a problem when you have decided not to try again because you're afraid to fail. Your past isn't a determinant of your future. Rather, your past can act as a springboard for your future. If you have made a lot of good decisions in the past, you'll be more confident about handling some responsibilities in the future. Nonetheless, the fact that you've made mistakes does not mean you can make better decisions in the future. In fact, your mistakes make you more experienced. You now know what will work in some situations. The past is a shadow. The striking feature of a shadow is that it appears to be real, but it is not. It follows you wherever you go, but it doesn't contribute in any way to your life. The implication of this illustration is that you cannot deny your past. It will follow you for the rest of your life. You cannot banish the experience or the memories. However, you can decide what you will make of them. It would be ridiculous to be scared of your shadow or refuse to move forward because of a shadow. It's often funny in some situations when a child is so scared that he or she is running away from his or her shadow. You should also feel the same way if you're thinking that you cannot live a happy and fulfilled life because of your mistakes. Your past is just a shadow that lingers and casts darkness on some things around you. However, it does not determine what you can make out of your life. So you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you refuse to move on from your past. That relationship is over. You've lost that job. Your best friend is dead. There's no doubt that these are situations that don't bring a good image whenever your mind drifts towards them. However, your future has more pleasant memories in store if you are willing to get over those disappointing memories of the past. The past doesn't define you. You should keep reminding yourself that your past doesn't define you. If you take your time to look at the people around you, you'll notice that there are those who've had setbacks but were able to turn their lives around. Even if you don't know someone like that, a simple internet search will help you in this regard. Besides, you'll still find some great examples in this video course. You can also have a great life worth celebrating, despite your challenges and disappointments. It doesn't matter whether you were the one that made mistakes or it was due to factors beyond your control. You can still get to the finish line and win your race. It's your race because it's your life, so you shouldn't be in an unhealthy competition with anyone. The reason some people are stuck in the past is that they feel that they've been left behind by their peers. This approach will only put unnecessary pressure on you. Learn to concentrate on yourself. If you become the best version of yourself, you'll eventually become better than many of your peers. However, you shouldn't focus on running a rat race. This is one of the issues people have when checking pictures of celebrities. In this video, we'll discover about benefits of forging ahead. It's not likely that you'll commit to something when you are not sure about what you stand to gain by doing it. Forgetting about the past to start over has numerous benefits. This chapter will explore some of them to give you the impetus to start making changes that will give you a new lease of life. High self-esteem. Your self-esteem is a product of the way you see yourself. It will be low when you feel that you don't deserve to be loved and treasured. Note that you cannot separate self-esteem from self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the level of confidence you have in your ability to succeed in a task before you attempt it. It is vital that you have high self-efficacy because it makes others trust you to handle their projects in their behalf. You need to earn the trust of people before you can be given the opportunity to prove yourself. Meanwhile, the only way you can convince them that you can do the job is when you have confidence in your ability to get the job done. Even when you have the qualifications for a job, you'll still be doubted when you sound unsure about your chance of success in the task. Note that you cannot have high self-esteem when you are still stuck in the past. It is when you are ready to move on from your past that you will fancy your chance of succeeding again. If you can rate yourself to succeed in something you have failed in doing before, it shows that you are ready to banish the demons of your past. Prevention of depression. We all want to be happy, but many people are sad in this world. One of the reasons we have many unhappy people in the world is that many have refused to move on from their past. They are still thinking about a previous partner that broke up with them or the loss of a loved one. You cannot change what has happened, so you need to forge ahead. Note that happiness is a choice. The world is not designed to make you happy. In fact, there are many circumstances in a typical day that can ruin your mood if you allow them. An adage says that you cannot stop a bird from flying over your head, but you can prevent it from building a nest in your hair. In other words, you don't have total control over the circumstances that will present themselves to you. However, you can decide how you will react to them. If you keep thinking about the past, you will only become depressed in the long run. However, when you choose to start over, you will generate positive energy from the optimism of forging ahead. Healthy relationships. No one wants to be around people who keep complaining about their past. Such people are often grumpy and can spread negative emotions. So don't be surprised that people are avoiding you when you have a culture of reminding them about your past. They might sympathize with you initially. Nonetheless, they will start avoiding you when they realize that it is something you do a lot. Besides, it can affect your new relationship when you keep talking about your previous partner. So you need to learn to let go of the past and focus on the present to build healthy relationships. Only talk about your past when you want a person to learn something from it so that he or she will not make the same mistake you made. It's better that you talk about your mistakes and previous experiences when people ask you to tell them. Avoid raising such issues when no one is asking about them. You can ruin your mood and that of others with that approach. Seek the help of an expert on time if you notice that you are struggling to let go. You might need therapy to finally get yourself on track again. Finish strong. People will not care about your past if you can turn your life around. People like Abraham Lincoln and Oprah Winfrey had rough starts in life, but they were able to succeed all the same. Therefore, you can still finish strong if only you will not give up on yourself. The feeling of knowing that you didn't allow your past to define you is satisfying. You will be proud of yourself and will want anyone who cares to listen that they can still succeed regardless of the challenges they are facing. Remember that your life is not over until you breathe your last breath. So take the time to reflect on why you failed and stand up on your feet again. The finish line is still far off. Dust yourself off and start running again. You can still be celebrated and become an icon like the celebrities you know today. If you read about some of the superstars you admire, you will realize that they have scars they have refused to be the summary of their lives. You can take out time to read some biographies to draw inspiration. When you let go of the past and start over, you will eventually finish strong. Have a testimony. We all like to read about people who didn't allow their setbacks and mistakes to define them. What about you? The ball is in your court now. Will you abandon your dreams because your efforts are not yielding the kind of results you want? What will you tell your children? They may not say anything, but they know that you are only making excuses. So you can choose to be an inspiration for the future generation if you don't give up now. Let people read your story years later and find reasons not to give up on their dream. Indeed, it is easier said than done. However, you should not see backing down and giving excuses as options you should take. The world does not celebrate and remember people who gave up. It doesn't matter what you are doing. There have been people that have been in such situations and they didn't give up. So you need to let go of the past and start all over. Someone will need it someday. Someone will be grateful that you refused to back down later. Don't disappoint them. Dust yourself up and start fighting again to rise to the top. In this video, we'll discover about how to bounce back from past failures. It is not good enough to know the benefits of starting over and banishing the past. You also have to know how to go about starting the new journey. Many people desire to let go of the past and focus on the present. However, many fail because they lack the skills and information to do it right. This chapter will empower you with the knowledge and skills you need to start this new journey. Treat the past as a lesson. According to psychologists, intelligence is the ability to learn from experience to make better decisions in the future. Therefore, whoever does not learn from the mistakes of the past cannot be referred to as an intelligent person. You should be able to draw out lessons from your experience to improve your decision-making. For example, if you have been in an abusive relationship before, you should remember those factors that made you surrender yourself to a dictator. If it was because you depended on him or her for sustenance, then you should not enter another relationship until you have a job. You need to empower yourself and be valuable by making your own money. In the same way, if it was because you had low self-esteem, you need to work on that before entering a new relationship. You should be learning from what has happened to you in the past to avoid making the same mistakes. Unfortunately, some people don't learn from their experience. Instead of learning, they react and make even worse decisions. For example, some people can decide to be harsh towards any opposite sex that comes around them to get revenge for what their ex did to them. That approach is ridiculous. You should not become cranky and grumpy because of the way someone treated you. Rather, you should pick the lessons from your experience and use them to make better decisions in the future. Surround yourself with positive people. There are people who will always remind you about your past with every opportunity they have. Such people shouldn't be in your circle of friends. They generate negative emotions because they want you to feel bad about yourself. They also act that way to remind you that they are better than you. It doesn't matter whether such people are members of your family. They don't deserve your association. Stay off them. Unfortunately, such insensitive people are not only physically present, they are also on social media. They will throw jibes at you just to have fun without caring how you feel. Even celebrities are not immune to such insensitive remarks. Some people have had to deactivate their social media accounts because they were targets of cyberbullying activities. If you find yourself in that kind of situation, you should stay off social media for a while. Stay more around people that will see you as a human being who can make a mistake. Such people will give you the chance to slowly mend your broken vessel and prepare to sail again. They will provide you with the emotional support you need to see the past as a lesson so that you can forge ahead. We all need such people in our lives. Moreover, you should also be that kind of person towards others. Sometimes the reason some people are quick to condemn us is that we have been quick to judge others in the past. Leverage your strengths. One of the best ways you can build your self-esteem, especially after it has been battered, is to stick with things that allow you to express your strength. There's a place for learning and acquiring skills to carry out a task successfully. However, you will make your journey smoother when you do those things that maximize your abilities and minimize your deficiencies. If we all learn to do the things we can do best, we will be lauded as celebrities in our own right. However, due to the pressure to make ends meet, many people are doing jobs that do not allow them to express their creativity. This limitation is often the case when working in a highly bureaucratic organization. The need to seek the permission of a superior before implementing an idea often make many people less productive than their capacity. Avoid being under the spotlight or immense pressure when starting over to avoid harsh criticism in case of a mistake. Don't hide or run away from responsibilities because of your setback. However, it will be better for you if you can start working your way up from an environment with less scrutiny. Use that period to build your confidence and trust in your ability again. It helps when you are with people who allow you to get back to your previous level without judging you during this phase. Receive more training. It is crucial that you admit when you know that you don't have what it takes to carry out a task. One of the reasons some people fail in a project is overconfidence. Low self-esteem is not good. However, overconfidence can also make you make mistakes that will be difficult to correct. So don't demand a role you know you don't have the skills to perform. Even when you are being offered such a position, you should be honest enough to turn it down unless you will be allowed to learn on the job. In the same way, some people get into the wrong romantic relationships because they are naive. Young people are fond of making such mistakes because they feel no one understands how they feel. They will not inform their parents about the relationship until something goes wrong. They could have impregnated themselves already before the parents are aware of what is going on. They will not inform their parents about the relationship until something goes wrong. You should be open to learning from more experienced people in every aspect of life. You will not make the mistakes older people have made in their relationships if you seek their counsel. Learn to ask the right questions from the right people. You don't have to invest and lose your money before you learn your lessons. There are always people that have invested in that sector before. Successful people are known for their willingness to learn from others. If you're going to turn your life around after a setback, you must be more open to learning. In this video, we'll talk about great people who had rough pasts. No matter how rough and terrible your past was, there have been people who have experienced similar or worse situations. So it is a good practice to read about such people so that you can be encouraged that there is still light at the end of the tunnel for you. In this chapter, we will examine some famous people who had disastrous and limiting pasts but still emerged as world beaters. Benjamin Graham. The first person on this list is the man known as the father of value investing. He's also popular for being the mentor of Warren Buffett. He was a great investor, professor, and author of 2 revolutionary financial books, Security Analysis and The Intelligent Investor. His books are used in universities to date to teach students vital business principles that are still relevant in the modern world. According to Warren Buffett, his book, The Intelligent Investor, is one of the greatest investment books ever written. Buffett sees Graham as a benevolent and generous person for his willingness to share his business ideas with others. There is no doubt that Benjamin Graham was one of the greatest people to have lived on this planet. However, he didn't have it all good all the time. Life was cruel to him, but he recovered, and his story is an inspiration to many today. He lost his father early in life, and his family experienced poverty due to that. However, it never deterred him. He also lost a lot of money between 1929 and 1932. Nonetheless, he did not give up. He didn't give an excuse or tell himself that he was not wired for investment. Rather, he learned from his mistakes, and that was what led to the development of the principle of value investing. Oprah Winfrey. The famous self-made billionaire is also on this list by merit. She's often at the top of every Hollywood invitation list and is a success in her own right. However, life was not always this glamorous for her. She was born into poverty by teenage parents. Not long after she was born, she had to start living with her grandparents because her parents split up. She was raped by numerous members of her family at the tender age of 14. By the time she moved to live with her father, she discovered she was pregnant. She gave birth to a premature little boy who could not survive and died after 2 weeks. These events could have affected her and make her drop her head in shame and sadness. However, she chose to let go of her past and focus on her future. She concentrated on her studies and did not allow her past to get the best of her. Winfrey buckled down and got good grades in school. She eventually rose to the top because she chose to look on the bright side. She rewrote her story, and we are glad she did because her story has inspired many people today. Rihanna. Rihanna is one of the most successful hip-hop artists of all time. She has won 12 American Music Awards, 8 Grammy Awards, and 12 Billboard Music Awards. She is supremely talented and the favorite of many music enthusiasts around the world. She has performed at the highest level, and it is safe to say that many upcoming musicians will be glad to have a career as glamorous and decorated as Rihanna. Nevertheless, just like many people in the world, life was not always fair to her. Her father was abusive towards her mother when she was younger due to addiction to crack cocaine. Her parents eventually broke up. However, she remains close to her father and stated that he is one of the coolest guys she knows. She admits that he was a horrible husband but a good father. Her story shows that she chose to forgive her father for treating her mother wrongly. Besides, she didn't let her upbringing make her give excuses for not forging ahead to carve a good career for herself. She kept her focus, and she is a world beater because of that today. Abraham Lincoln. The story of one of the greatest presidents America ever had is so inspiring that it deserves to be told again and again. It is the story of a man who defied all the odds to succeed. It is also the story of a man who has thousands of reasons to give up because of past failures but found one to forge ahead. He kept starting all over again after a major setback. He built his own homeschool, where he taught himself law by using the books given to him by his neighbors, stepmother, and teachers. His desire to keep learning and embracing new ideas made him the first president to use the telegraph. He was also a man that was known for keeping a sense of humor even during challenging periods. Moreover, his ability to weather the storm is the most remarkable part of his story. Lincoln lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elections. If anyone should have given up on his dream, it should have been this man. However, he kept starting over, and the rest is history. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has written her name in gold in the heart of many music lovers around the world with hits such as Super Bass and Fly. There is no doubt that she has the talent and presence that makes people look out for her in big events. Many people would like to have her success, but her background is quite nasty. She was raised by her grandparents because her parents traveled to the U.S. in search of a better life. However, she reunited with them in New York when she was 5. Not long after that, her father developed an addiction to crack cocaine that made him aggressive and violent towards her mother. According to her, she grew up with the constant fear that her father was going to kill her mother. Her father often threatened to kill her mother and almost succeeded. However, she escaped at the last minute. Despite all these heartbreaking incidents surrounding her upbringing, she was able to succeed in her career. Therefore, there is no reason why you should not make the best out of your life. Indeed, there will be mitigating factors. However, you have to rise above them. Eminem. Marshall Bruce Mathers III, also known as Eminem, is a popular rapper and actor who is renowned for his intensity and lyrical preeminence. Slim Shady, as he is often called, is a success and big name in the music industry in America and the world at large. However, just like every other person on this list, things had been rough for him in the early part of his life. Interestingly, he's not shy to talk about his challenging childhood. His father abandoned him as an infant, and he was raised by a single mother. His mother could barely take care of him because she did not have a stable job. Besides, they were often moving around, and he had to change school 3 times. His mother was addicted to drugs, and he has used his music to tell the world about her. Eminem sees music as that hiding and comfortable place for him where he can express his thoughts. It is therapy for him. Nonetheless, the world is listening, and he has become a superstar with his brand and style of music. The lesson you can learn from Eminem is that you should find something you love doing to banish the unpleasant memories of your past. In this video, we'll discover about overcoming negative self-talk. We cannot overemphasize the importance of your mind in your daily endeavors. Your mindset plays a crucial role in determining how far you can go in life. The state of your mind can make you do things that will limit your success in your daily activities. This chapter will examine how the voice of your mind can prevent you from moving on from your past and starting over. The monkey mind. The mind is a powerful force that remains active even when you are sleeping. It's because your mind is still active when your body shuts down that it is responsible for your dreams and nightmares. According to Buddha, the mind can act like a monkey jumping from one branch of a tree to the other. Those branches of trees in this context refer to thoughts about different things. However, you will become restless and emotionally bankrupt when you allow your mind to function this way. It's like an autopilot mode that can make your mind dwell on your past mistakes and some unfortunate events in your life. Therefore, you must rule over your mind by being in charge of it. The following tips can help you put your monkey mind in check. Know that you can tame it. You need to take more responsibility for your mind. You can tame your monkey mind, and you must never forget that. In fact, the first and most crucial step in stopping restlessness of the mind is to know and believe that you can stop yourself from wandering into negative self-talk. Don't keep quiet. There are times when you can counter destructive thoughts by switching to positive ones. It can be that simple sometimes. However, there are times that the thoughts will be so powerful that you will not be able to rule over them by just adjusting your mindset. You may have to speak up to bring tranquility to your mind again. For example, if you remember what someone said about you regarding your ability to excel, say something like, "I am not a failure." You will notice yourself calming down and your anxiety level will drop with this approach. Meditation and journaling. Meditation and journaling are 2 crucial practices that can help you keep your mind at peace. For example, in mantra meditation, you will be chanting a mantra that serves as an anchor point. Your mind will be stationed on the mantra rather than destructive thoughts such as your failures in the past. More Moreover, journaling ensures that you'll be able to combat your thoughts because your mind is involved when you are writing. Besides, it ensures that you can trace the source of your negative emotions and counter them with logical thoughts. Your feelings can color your thinking regarding your current situation. Note that you can combine meditation and journaling. Your negative self-talk cannot survive this double impact. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Self-fulfilling prophecies are words spoken about the outcome of an event such that you will act in a particular way to make them come to pass. For example, you can say that you will not be hired before you go for an interview. You will now not be motivated and inspired to do your best to ensure that you are picked. You are just looking forward to being turned down so that you can tell whoever cares to listen that you have already said it before the company will not hire you. You cannot achieve anything significant in life if you do this consistently. It will prevent you from improving yourself. It can be due to your past failures. You have to let it go and be more optimistic. Some people call their practice of self-fulfilling prophecies as being realistic. Nonetheless, this is far from the truth. It is a practice that reduces your self-esteem and will make you perform below the expected standard. You will be more concerned about proving to yourself and others that you were right about your predictions of doom and gloom about your chances. You can never banish the demons from your past and start over with this approach. Victory over this destructive culture can be achieved through the following means. Work on your ineptitudes. If you know that you actually don't have what it takes to succeed in a task, get more training. Get help from people that are more experienced than you. You will eventually fulfill your prediction if you don't actively and deliberately work on your deficiencies. Trust more. You need to convince yourself that you have what it takes to succeed in a project, especially after doing your homework. Besides, you should learn to play to your strength. So if you know that you don't have the qualities to succeed in something, stay off until you have the skills necessary to succeed. Be around the right people. You are a product of the kind of influence you have in your life. So you cannot afford to underestimate the impact of your association on your life. One of the reasons some people are stuck in the past is that they have people who keep reminding them about their mistakes. Stay off such people and stay more around the people that will support you in the new journey. You need such people with positive energy to avoid working towards fulfilling your predicted doom. Self-sabotage behaviors. No one can stop you unless you stop yourself. Your past can only define you when you decide to allow it to affect you. Many people are stuck in the past and are never able to recover because of self-sabotage behaviors. A self-sabotage behavior is an action that prevents or limits your success despite your dreams, wishes, and values. These behaviors are often a product of negative emotions, negative self-talk, and low self-esteem. It can also be due to your past experiences, which affect your thinking pattern. You might produce self-sabotaging actions when you are trying to avoid things that are challenging or uncomfortable. An example of self-sabotaging behavior is working towards achieving a target only to ruin it because of a stupid mistake. It can also be in the form of feeling frustrated and discouraged when you are trying to achieve something monumental. This feeling erodes your self-confidence, and it can also affect your professional and interpersonal relationships. You can overcome self-sabotage behaviors by leveraging the tips below. Recognize the self-sabotage behaviors you have that have been affecting your progress. Identify the reason you have been acting that way. Set out time to think about your actions and how you can turn things around. Locate your positive inner voice and make it louder. Set goals and stick to the plan. In this video, we'll talk about making plans for a better future. One of the reasons people find it difficult to move on from the past and start over is that they have no plans for the future. They've put all their eggs in one basket and cannot imagine starting all over again. However, as earlier mentioned, life is a journey that presents you with another opportunity to rewrite your story. In this chapter, we will explore tips that can help you make concrete plans for the future and start building your life again. Build positive self-image. No one can respect and love you more than you respect and love yourself. Meanwhile, when you don't see yourself as a person who deserves to be treated with value by others, you will subject yourself to ridicule and other unpleasant situations. It can make you stay in an abusive relationship and work a job that does not allow you to reach your potential. You will live your life pleasing others and meeting their demands. Indeed, there's nothing wrong with pleasing people and meeting their needs. However, you must be able to make demands without feeling that you're asking for too much. For example, you should be able to tell your partner when you're not happy about the way he or she is treating you. Sometimes you'll never object even when you're not happy because you're afraid that that person might walk away from the relationship. If that's the case, you are in a relationship that will only strain you and make you regret your actions eventually. Don't let anyone make you feel like a second-class human being. It all begins by seeing yourself in a positive light. When you think about yourself, what do you see? Do you see a failure who should be at the mercy of others or a legend in the making? You need to build a positive image to recover from your past and start over. Build self-esteem. You need high self-esteem to have the confidence that is needed to forge ahead after a setback. Note that is not automatic. There are some deliberate steps you need to take to build your self-esteem, especially after it has been shattered by a traumatic incident. The following tips will help you in that regard. Rate yourself. After a setback, it is natural that you start seeing yourself as a failure. However, you need to turn the table around as fast as possible. One of the ways you can rate yourself again is to remind yourself of the previous success you achieved in the past. Remember that no one is perfect. You made a mistake. So what? You're not the first person to make a mistake in the world, and you won't be the last. In fact, you will still make mistakes. You need to accept your imperfections as a human being and work on them. We all make mistakes. So motivate yourself and start all over again. Keep the ball moving. You cannot afford to be static in life. The best way to build your self-esteem is to get to work immediately after a setback. Of course, there's a place for thinking things through and analyzing why you failed the first time. However, don't dally too much. Once you realize your mistake, correct them and get to work again. Focus on what is changeable. Your self-esteem will remain battered when you keep thinking about things you cannot change. Focus on those areas you can improve and correct. When you keep complaining about things that are beyond you, you will be frustrated. Besides, you will not be confident in your ability to succeed because you feel too many factors are against you. Get involved in activities that make you happy. It is vital that you generate positive emotions, especially after experiencing an emotional setback. If you like sports, do more of that around that period. Set goals. Setting goals give your life a direction and a sense of purpose. You can't have a better future when you don't have goals you are working to achieve. When you have goals, you have drive. You are motivated to succeed, and that helps you take your mind off your past. Ensure that your goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Any target that does not have those qualities is not realistic and bound to fail. Have long-term and short-term targets in every area of your life. Note that you should not set goals because you want to get back at others. Rather, set targets because you want to fulfill your potential. Practice journaling. According to Dr. John Grohol, CEO of Psych Central, mental disorders such as depression and anxieties can be treated with medication, counseling, and journaling. Journaling is becoming more popular in recent times because more people are beginning to realize its numerous benefits. Note that your journal should not contain stories of how people hurt you and disappointed you. Rather, you should leverage it to make plans and improve your performance. The following tips will help you to get the best out of your plan to keep a journal. Focus on where you are in your life right now and your future plans. Stay consistent with it by having a specific part of the day or day of the week you update the journal. Don't censor your thoughts for the first 5 minutes of writing to ensure you pour out how you are feeling at that moment. Be accountable to someone that can ensure that you are consistent with updating your journal. Practice meditation. Meditation is a practice that helps people to focus on the moment to live a happier and meaningful life. There are many forms of it. However, they all help to achieve calmness and focus. You need this practice to forgive yourself and be grateful for everything you have in your life. Many celebrities are taking advantage of meditation to boost their performance and improve their mental health. The following tips can help you to start and stay consistent with your meditation practice. Choose a type of meditation you can practice consistently. You may need to try different ones to know the best for you. Hire a guide or join a local class if you are struggling to practice effectively alone. Look for a place you can practice that is free from distractions. Start gradually with 5 minutes of practice and increase it as you get better. Celebrate every progress. The pressure and demands of life can make you forget how to be happy. However, you should learn to enjoy every bit of your life by celebrating the seemingly little success you have. This culture is particularly important when you are recovering from a major setback and trying to put your life together again. One of the things journaling and meditation should teach you is the practice of gratitude. A particular form of meditation called loving kindness meditation is very crucial in this regard. This form of practice emphasizes thinking about the people in your life and how important they are to you. It also involves forgiving yourself and others. Treat every progress in your new journey of starting over as essential. Treat yourself well for every week or month you keep your mind on the present instead of the past. The positive energy from this tradition will boost your morale and self-esteem in the long run. You deserve to be celebrated. Do it yourself if no one else is doing it yet. Indeed, life can be so cruel. Nothing is certain. We all wish to have things go smoothly for us, but it is never the case. Life gives us reasons to cry regardless of our social, economic, or financial status. Even rich, influential, and famous people experience situations that make them feel cursed. The unpredictable nature of life is the reason many people seek magic potions from magicians. However, no magic wand can solve your problems. You have to take more responsibility to make the best out of your life. One of the reasons we struggle to take the next step in life is because we are stuck in the past. We say so many things about the past that cannot change, making it challenging to let go of it. However, you have to move on because the future holds more than you realize. You've learned useful tips that can help you start over. The ball is in your court now. You can choose to leverage these hints to turn your life around or keep talking about the past. Remember that you will not gain anything from dwelling on the past. So do the needful. Start over.